One Piece Heavenly Upgrade System. Chapter 1. Mufang crossed into the world of One Piece. As an avid pirate fan, Mufang, who is lonely on the earth and has no worries, should be excited when he learns that he has crossed into the world of One Piece. But at this moment, Mufang can't get excited at all. Because he crossed to an isolated island. No. Maybe it's an isolated island, but it's a bit exaggerated. To describe it more vividly, it is a huge rock protruding from the bottom of the sea. There is no grass growing, and there is an endless sea around it. Mufang curled up behind a standing rock as much as possible. He must avoid the sun as much as possible. After all, on this isolated island, there is no food or water source. In the absence of food, a person may be able to live for 2 or 3 weeks, but it is a miraculous thing to live for 3 days without water. What's more, I don't know if it's because of the crossing, Mufang's body now seems to be 13 or 4 years old the most, which is weaker than ordinary people. Thoughts moved slightly, and a faint white light curtain appeared in front of Mufang. The strongest god-level system, not enabled. Host, Mufang. World, One Piece. Ability, none. Initial task, to survive. Mission introduction: in this era of cruel big pirates, survival is not a simple matter. Ask the host to survive for 3 days. Mission completed, turn on the system and reward a novice with a gift package. Mission failed, no punishment. No punishment? Live for less than 3 days, isn't it just dead? They're all dead, and punish them for a fart. The scorching sun in the sky is more poisonous than the previous 2 days. The skin on the lips has been completely dry and cracked, and the blood that has come out has condensed into blood scabs. Even Mufang's consciousness is a bit blurred. It seems, a black spot appeared on the seashore far away. The boat, is it a boat? No. It's not that you are finished. Hey. Here. There are people here. Exhausting all his energy, Mufang shouted the last word, and then passed out gorgeously. Mufang was betting that the black spot he saw from a distance was a ship. As a marine hero, Garp's position in marine is very detached. Read more at woo11ax.com. In this sea, Garp was the only one who could chase One Piece and scurry around. Although the body has passed its peak period, Garp's strength is definitely not inferior to any of the current 3 Admiral, or even faintly surpassed. Adjutant, did you hear the call for help? Garp looked at the adjutant next to him and asked. The lieutenant colonel was taken aback for a moment, and said, No. This is a windless zone. There should be no ships other than marine ships passing by. Did you hear me wrong? Lieutenant General Garp. The lieutenant colonel confirmed that he didn't hear any sound. Garp didn't speak, but frowned, looking out to the sea. He had an instinct that someone around was calling for help just now. Garp has always believed in his instincts. Back then, it was relying on intuition to push Roger into desperation several times. Suddenly he saw the isolated island several nautical miles away. His gaze narrowed, and he said solemnly, change the course and take a look on that isolated island. Yes. Lieutenant General Garp. Although the lieutenant colonel was a little puzzled. But he did not hesitate to execute Garp's orders. After all, Garp is not only a lieutenant general but also the supreme commander of this warship, and naturally has the right to change the course. What's more, it's just changing the course of several nautical miles, a very simple thing. The marine battleship gradually approached the isolated island, and the lieutenant colonel suddenly exclaimed, Lieutenant General Garp, there is a comatose boy on the isolated island. Quickly, save him. Garp ordered. The lieutenant colonel's actions were sharp, and he stepped directly on the island on moonwalk. He picked up Mufang, who was unconscious, and used moonwalk again to return to the marine battleship. Lieutenant General Garp, there is nothing serious about this young man's body, but his body is too dehydrated. As long as he replenishes enough water, he will be able to recover soon. The lieutenant colonel's adjutant checked Mufeng's body and then asked Garp reports. Well, first send this teenager to the medical room for treatment. Garp ordered. Yes, Lieutenant General Garp, the lieutenant colonel replied. I don't know how long it took. Mufeng opened his eyes. With his physical strength already recovered, he propped himself up. Mufeng looked around, his eyes a little dazed. Where is this? Have I been rescued? At this moment, a voice suddenly sounded in Mufeng's mind. Congratulations to host. Complete the initial task of the system, live in Pirate World, survive for 3 days. The strongest God-level system is officially launched, and a gift package for novices to host will be rewarded. May I ask host if you choose to open the gift package for novices? Turn on. Mufeng said silently in his heart, but also a little excited. The newbie gift package is open. Congratulations to host. You have obtained the Elementary Experience Scroll X10, a sharp fine knife, and a 3-hook jade state cherry non-pair. May I ask whether the host has withdrawn the newbie gift package? If not, it will be regarded as the host automatically give up. The system is cold. The sound rang. Extract. Of course, Mufeng said quickly. No extraction? When you are a fool. After Mufeng's voice fell, he felt a tickling in his eyes. Subconsciously, I wanted to raise my hand to scratch my eye sockets, but as soon as I raised my hand halfway, the itchiness disappeared. Mufeng turned to look at the side mirror, and was stunned. With blood-red eyes, the 3 guyu in the pupils were slowly turning. And the whole world completely changed in Mufeng's eyes, and it became clearer, and there was a sense of clarity as a nearsighted eye suddenly put on glasses. 3 guyu. Sharingan. Mufeng couldn't believe it. Sharingan, this is the most abnormal blood follower in Naruto world. Even in the previous life, some people complained that Naruto should be renamed to Eye Ninja, because basically the whole story revolves around Sharingan. I own it so easily. Moreover, it is directly in the state of Sanguyu, it is not too cool. Undoubtedly, this is definitely one of his great support in Pirate World in the future. Chapter 2. That's not right, the system. In addition to 3 Tomo Sharingan, isn't there a scroll of elementary experience and a sword? Mufeng was a little confused. Although you can tell from the name, these 2 things are definitely a lot worse than 3 Tomo Sharingan. But no matter how small a mosquito is, it is meat. Mufeng will never let go of any rewards from the system. The other 2 rewards have been put into the space backpack. Space backpack. Mufeng muttered. A pitch-black hole suddenly appeared in front of him, and Mufeng could clearly perceive the objects in it. He stretched out his hand and took out the contents of the space backpack easily. 10 brown scrolls. There is also a slender dachi about 2 fingers wide. Item, Elementary Experience Scroll. Type, Consumables. Quality, 2 stars. Remarks, a small amount of proficiency that can increase the ability. Item, Sharp Boutique Tato. Type, Weapon. Quality, 3 stars. Remarks, although there is no name, but the sharpness is definitely not inferior to any of the 21st tools in Pirate World. A space backpack. It's really convenient. Mufeng muttered. Said, the system, show my current state. Yes, host. The system said. Then a faint white light curtain appeared in front of Mufeng. The strongest God-level system, opened. Host, Mufeng. World, One Piece. Ability, sharing an LV6 3-hook jade state proficiency, 0%. The main task, join a force. Task brief, congratulations, tiny host. In this cruel pirate world, survived for 3 days in the world. So next, as a weak chicken, You naturally have to join a force, otherwise the system will not guarantee your life and death. Task reward, none. Task penalty, none. Damn, no reward. System Nima, shameless. Mufang cursed in his heart. The system returned coldly. The system determines that this task is not difficult for the host. If you give a reward, it is an act of insulting the system's IQ. Mufang was speechless. Your sister, you have a broken system and an IQ with wool. Mufang ignored this unscrupulous system and walked out the door. He still doesn't know who saved him, so thank you very much. But as soon as he walked out of the room, Mufang felt the ground shake. Read more at woo11ax.com. No, it should be that the hull under your feet is shaking violently. At this moment, a calm middle-aged man's voice sounded, Lieutenant General Garp, the warship is being attacked by the Sea King. And Mufang also saw a big guy. The whole person was stunned, really big, a fish. Do not. It should be said to be the Neptune, the most powerful and terrifying species in this world. The Sea King in front of Mufang has a huge body of nearly 1,000 meters. Even if it is placed in the Neptune category, it is definitely one of the Overlord level existence. Ahaha, Aquaman class, where are you? It seems we can have an extra meal tonight. A vigorous voice sounded, and then Mufang saw a figure jumping on the bow of the ship, with the words Justice written on the white cloak behind it. It's Marine. Was he saved by Marine? Also, apart from Marine, no ships will pass through the windless zone. And what did the guy just call? Lieutenant General Garp? Mufang stared at the boss, looking at the figure jumping high. He is tall, 2 meters long, extremely muscular, and full of white hair. Monkey D. Garp. Lieutenant General Marine, the legendary Marine Monkey D. Garp. Mufang didn't expect Garp to save him. At this moment, Garp had already leaped in front of the giant Sea King, facing the Sea King roaring at him. Garp's complexion had not changed at all, and his right arm instantly turned jet black. Facing the head of the Neptune class, he brazenly blasted his fist. Then I saw the head of the Neptune class, directly sunken. The huge body was bombarded for several kilometers. With just a punch, Garp solved a domineering Sea King class. Mufang opened his mouth in shock and couldn't close it for a long time. It wasn't until a long while later that there was a word in his mouth, Nima, tease me? This is too abnormal. As a pirate fan, Mufang knows that the power level of Pirate World is very strong. But after witnessing with my own eyes, I can understand the horror of this world better. If you use one word to describe it, it is terrible. Congratulations, host, enable ability classification hacking. At this moment, the cold voice of the system suddenly sounded in Mufang's mind. Ability classification? What the hell? Mufang was puzzled. As soon as the thought fell, the bright white light curtain emerged. Host, Mufang. World, One Piece. Ability. Sherry non-LV63 Hook Jade State Proficiency, 0%. Haki. Armament Haki LV0 Proficiency, 0%. Observation Haki LV0 Proficiency, 0%. Conqueror's Haki LV0 Proficiency, 0%. When he saw his attribute panel, Mufang's eyes widened. I rely on, what does this mean? It's hard to come by, I have learned the tricolor tyrant. I rely on. I rely on. Do you want to be so awesome? Please calm down the host. Turning on the ability classification of Haki does not mean that the host has learned Conqueror's Haki. If the host wants to master Haki, please practice hard and improve the proficiency of the ability. The system decisively splashed Mufang a basin of cold water. Cut, I'll just say that the system is unkind. Mufang glanced at his mouth. But suddenly, Mufang was stunned. And many more. Improve ability proficiency? If I remember correctly, the newbie spree just now, but there are still 10 scrolls of elementary experience. It is said in the item introduction of the system that this thing can increase a small amount of proficiency in the ability. System, how do I use the elementary experience scroll? Mufeng asked. Meditate on this ability in my mind, and then tear up the scroll. The system explained. Without any hesitation, Mufeng took out a scroll of primary experience from the space backpack, and then meditated on Conqueror's Haki in his heart, tearing open the scroll in his hand. Suddenly, the scroll turned into a faint golden streamer and poured into Mufeng's body. After using a primary experience scroll, Mufeng did not feel any change. It's just that the proficiency after Conqueror's Haki has changed from 0% to 47%, and there seems to be something about to erupt from his body. Effective. Mufeng's eyes lit up. Without hesitation, he tore 2 scrolls of primary experience one after another. When Mufeng tore open the 3rd level primary experience scroll, Conqueror's Haki's level finally changed from LV0 to LV1. Boom. Involuntarily, a terrifying momentum erupted from Mufeng's body. Conqueror's Haki. The aptitude of the inborn king is the ability possessed by the talents who have the emperor's resources. It cannot be acquired, and can only be determined by fate. This is the iron law of Pirate World. However, Mufeng is not a member of Pirate World. Conqueror's Haki is able to deter and frighten the enemy by relying on his own brave. This deterrence is indiscriminate and uncontrollable. At the very least, there is no way to control the current Mufeng. As a result, all Marines below the 2nd lieutenant on Garp's entire battleship collapsed to the ground, foaming at the mouth, and lost consciousness. Enemy attack. The lieutenant colonel's expression suddenly changed. As Garp's adjutant, he often followed Garp into the New World. Naturally, it is very clear about Conqueror's Haki, and the guy who owns Conqueror's Haki is not a simple character. What's going on? Garp frowned. Solve him, the Sea King class, and land on the battleship. Observation Haki opened, but no enemy attack was detected. And the level of Conqueror's Haki is too weak, as if he just awakened. Awakening. Is it possible that there is Marine awakened on board Conqueror's Haki? Garp's eyes lit up. It's not an enemy attack, deal with the corpses of the Sea Kings. Garp comforted his adjutant, and then used observation Haki to find the source of this Conqueror's Haki. Read more at wu11ax.com. Soon, Garp found Mufeng. Huh? It was the windlass belt that met that little guy. Garp murmured. Very good, little guy. Are you interested in joining Marine? Ah, agreed. Ahahaha, I will train you to be the strongest Marine. Garp said to himself, completely ignoring Mufeng the meaning of. Congratulations, host, join Marine, complete the main task, join a force. The sound of the system followed, making Mufeng completely dumbfounded. Your sister. She didn't say a word. Garp, the old bastard, just forget it, what are you messing up with the system? System, get out of here. Mufeng roared inwardly. According to the judgment of the system, joining Marine is the most correct choice at this stage. If host is not satisfied with Marine power, it can redetermine host as a pirate power, a pirate hunter power, a revolutionary army power, and a world government power. The system's cold voice. Can the selected forces be changed? Mufeng was a little dumbfounded. It can naturally be changed. May I ask whether host chooses to rejudgment? The system asked. No wonder there is no reward for this main mission. This is just a matter of moving your mouth, there is a fart reward. However, it's good to be Marine at this stage. Systematic training, coupled with the existence of the system, can definitely become stronger quickly. No, don't change it yet. Mufeng said silently in his heart. Okay, little guy. From now on, you will be a third-class Marine. But don't worry, with my training, you will be promoted soon. Garp couldn't help but included Mufeng as himself. Third-class soldiers under his men. Right, kid. What's your name? Garp asked. Mufeng. Mufeng said. Mufeng? What a weird name and no surname. He seems to be an orphan. Garp muttered. Suddenly the eyes lit up. It's decided, you will be called Monkey D. Mufeng from now on. From now on, you will be my grandson of Monkey D. Garp, ahaha. Hey hey hey, you old man? What are you doing? Do you kidnap minors? What else is called no surname? My surname is Mu, my name is Feng, okay. But I believe Garp will ignore it even if he explains it himself. Sigh. Mufeng reluctantly accepted the fact of becoming Garp's grandson. After all, this old man is also his own savior. Moreover, in the original plot, Mufeng likes Garp very much. Become Garp's grandson? This feeling looks pretty good. Seeing that Mufeng didn't mean to reject himself, Garp was also relieved. His son defected from Marine, and became the most murderous criminal in the world. The two grandsons were also clamoring about becoming one piece, and Garp was worried about it. In order to take care of his two grandsons, he often ran back to Fengjie village from naval headquarters just to educate his grandsons. This time too, Garp was going back to Fengjie village and rescued Mufeng. When he saw Mufeng for the first time, Garp fell in love with this child who was not a few years older than his grandson. When Mufeng showed Conqueror's Haki's aptitude, Garp couldn't hide his mood even more. Started Conqueror's Haki as a teenager? What is this concept? When did I start Conqueror's Haki? 23. The sooner Conqueror's Haki is opened, the greater the potential. At the age of 13 or 4, he started Conqueror's Haki. This proves, the little guy in front of him named Mufeng absolutely possesses the aptitude to surpass Admiral, and Garp naturally can't hide his love. Old man, we are going there now. Mufeng asked unceremoniously. Garp didn't mind Mufeng calling himself an old man. Rubbing Mufeng's head, he said, ahaha, take you to meet your two younger brothers. This time I applied for a half-year vacation. Next, we will start the plan to train your three brothers into the strongest Marines. The pirate world is big, very big. In terms of area alone, it is definitely as vast as a dozen of the Earth. So even if it is out of the windless zone and is already in the East China Sea area, it still took nearly a week to reach the Windmill Village. Windmill Village, an ordinary small village in the East China Sea. The banquet bar at the entrance of the village. Makino. Give me wine, I don't want to drink juice. As a pirate, how can I not drink? Luffy, wearing a straw hat and wearing a red waistcoat, raised the juice in his hand and looked at Makino said angrily. Oh, isn't it? Then I'll give you milk. Makino said with a smile, and then handed Luffy a glass of milk. Thank you. Luffy thanked him, then took the milk and drank it. He didn't react until he finished drinking, and couldn't help becoming more angry. Immediately, the whole banquet bar burst into roar of laughter. Luffy, ace. Ahaha, the grandpa who loves you the most is back. A long distance away, you could hear Garp's full-fledged voice. Suddenly Luffy panicked, and regardless of drinking, he wanted to run outside the door. However, Garp, who walked directly in the door, knocked his head with a punch, and then slipped away. With his nose clasped in his other hand, he asked carelessly. Luffy, ace, did you miss me, grandpa? It hurts, it hurts. Luffy clutched his head, crying with tears. Good grandpa. The voice was a boy wearing a cowboy hat. Needless to say, Mufeng also knows who these two little boys are. One of them is the absolute protagonist of One Piece world, the future One Piece Monkey D. Luffy, and the other is the child of One Piece Gold Roger Boscart d'Ace. His name is Mufang, and he will be your brother from now on. Garp introduced directly. Oh. Luffy said oh. There was no resistance to the sudden emergence of an older brother. On the side, Ace frowned, but didn't say anything in the end. He just nodded slightly to Mufang, expressing kindness. Mufang naturally wouldn't mind, just smiled. What will happen in the future is uncertain, but now it is just two bear kids. Read more at woo11ax.com. Luffy, Ace, you two run 200 laps for me around Windmill Village. I won't finish the run, but I don't have dinner. Garp pointed to Luffy and said. Although Luffy had a bitter look on his face, he didn't dare to resist. After the Luffy duo started training, Garp brought Mufang to the training ground. Mufang, you are older than Luffy and Ace, and Haki has also been guided. So I will be more targeted for your training. First of all, you have to understand that everyone has a huge body in their body. Potential, you only need to dig out a part of these potentials to become a very powerful warrior. There is a physical skill in Marine that exceeds the limits of humans. This set of physical skills is called Marine 6 Styles. Next, I will teach you Marine 6 Styles. Garp said. Hearing Garp's words, Mufang was surprised. Marine 6 Styles is a physical skill that only Marine generals can learn. Just teach me casually like this, is it really good? However, Mufang would not refuse this kind of meat that came to his mouth immediately. First, shave. The pedaling speed is suddenly increased by controlling the leg muscles, and then the explosive reaction force is used to move, which is impossible to see with the naked eye. The voice fell, and Garp's body suddenly disappeared. In the next second, he appeared dozens of meters away. Then, Tempest Kick. It is also through the control of the leg muscles to slash with the vacuum wave generated by the super high-speed kick. After Garp finished speaking, he suddenly raised his leg and kicked out. A few meters away, a huge tree with a thickness of several people surrounded by several people was directly cut off in the middle. Next, is Moonwalk. Afterwards, Garp demonstrated all Marine 6 styles. After Garp's demo, the surroundings have become messy. How about? Which style do you want to learn first? Garp smiled. Although the principles are very simple, each style has special skills. With your talent, you can learn 2 or 3 of them in half a year. It's definitely okay. Although it seems that the principle of Marine 6 styles is very simple. But in fact, it is very difficult to practice Marine 6 styles successfully. Just as everyone knows that nuclear bombs use the principle of nuclear fission, but no one can create nuclear bombs casually. Knowing and doing it are not the same thing. It took Garp more than 2 years to learn the 6 formulas that year. So Garp thinks that Mufang can learn 2 or 3 poses within half a year, which is already very good. That, old man. Marine 6 styles, I have learned everything. Mufang scratched his head and said with some embarrassment. The Sharingan of Sangoyo has insight, hypnosis, and the ability to replicate opponents' ninjutsu skills. Just now when Garp showed Marine 6 styles to Mufang, Mufang had used Sharingan to perfectly replicate Garp's movements, and naturally he had completely learned Marine 6 styles. Host, Mufang. World, One Piece. Ability. Sharingan LV6 3-hook Jade State Proficiency, 0.7%. Haki. Armament Haki LV2 Proficiency, 23%. Observation Haki LV2 Proficiency, 23%. Conqueror's Haki LV1 Proficiency, 12%. Marine 6 Styles. Finger Pistol LV1 Proficiency, 0%. Iron Body LV1 Proficiency, 0%. Shave LV1 Proficiency, 0%. Moonwalk LV1 Proficiency, 0%. Tempest Kick LV1 Proficiency, 0%. Paper Arts LV1 Proficiency, 0%. Unlike Haki, Haki is a classification of capabilities enabled by system detection. The sixth form is the physical skill that Mufeng uses Sharinan to replicate, so the initial level is LV1. In other words, it is a level that can be used. As for armament Haki and observation Haki respectively reaching LV2, it is because Mufeng used 3 primary experience scrolls respectively. Both are easier to upgrade than Conqueror's Haki. What? You said? You have learned Marine 6 styles. Garp's face was strange, he obviously didn't believe Mufeng's words. Although I know that Mufeng's talent is amazing, I just learned it directly by watching myself show Marine 6 styles. This kind of thing is completely a fantasy. Mufeng didn't talk too much nonsense, the muscles of his legs suddenly exerted force. His body suddenly disappeared, and he appeared tens of meters away in the next moment. This is shaved. Garp murmured, widening his eyes. Moreover, the shave displayed by Mufeng is definitely just learned. The difference between a beginner and a Tibetan, if Garp, who has been immersed in Marine 6 styles for decades, can't even tell this, he is simply a Marine Lieutenant General for nothing. In other words, Boy Mufeng just watched himself use Marine 6 styles once, and he has learned it completely? Oh my god. This is completely out of the category of genius. It's an evildoer, and it's a peerless evildoer. Seeing that Garp didn't say anything, Mufeng thought that Garp still didn't believe it. As a result, Finger Pistol, Iron Body, Moonwalk, Tempest Kick, Paper Arts, were displayed in sequence. Pub Future ads. Old man, is it alright? Mufeng asked out aloud looking at Garp dull. Is it okay? You've all learned, and ask a fart. The corners of Garp's mouth twitched, and it took a long time to speak. Well, you have learned the 6 poses. But it's only a beginner level. You still need to practice hard. If you practice first, you can ask me if you don't understand. I will return to the battleship first. Garp said he had to slow down first to see if he was dreaming. Naval Headquarters. Marshal Marine's Office, read more at woo11ax.com. Sengoku, the Buddha with a white dove on his head, is dealing with many official duties. We must know that after the opening of the Great Pirate Age, Marine's control of the sea has reached its lowest value in 800 years. Damn Roger, I won't let this world stop even if I die. Bolu, Bolu, Bolia Bolu. The rapid ringing of the phone bug made Sengoku of Buddha frowned. But after seeing the phone bug ringing, Sengoku smiled again. When the phone worm was connected, he yelled, Garp, you old bastard. Why don't you take your vacation? Come on, what's the matter? Thinking of Garp, Sengoku was so angry. Marine is in troubled times, but this old man has applied for a vacation. Ahaha. Sengoku, let me tell you something. When I returned to the windmill village, I rescued a teenager in the windlass belt. Before Garp finished speaking, he was interrupted by Sengoku, you come to report this kind of thing to me? You don't want me to cancel your vacation. Sengoku's teeth itchy, if Garp doesn't give himself an explanation, absolutely must cancel his vacation. Listen to me, this boy awakened Conqueror's Haki on my boat. And he is only 14 years old. Garp said carelessly. Hearing Garp's words, Sengoku got up from his chair with a bang. Old bastard, you are not mistaken. Sengoku knew better than Garp, what it meant to wake up Conqueror's Haki when he was 14. It definitely exceeds the potential of Marine Admiral. How is it possible? How could I admit it to Conqueror's Haki? And, I taught him Marine 6 styles. Did you know? I just demonstrated it and he has learned all Marine 6 styles. Garp's voice still full of surprise. What, how is it possible? Sengoku said subconsciously. Conqueror's Haki can also be explained by innateness. But Marine Six Styles, a physical technique that goes beyond the limits of the human body, can be learned casually after seeing it once. The Marine Six Styles has long been full of the sea. But on this issue, Sengoku believes that Garp will not be joking. Taking a deep breath, Sengoku's expression became serious. This kind of evildoer absolutely must draw in marine, otherwise, even if it is destroyed, it will definitely not be allowed to grow into a pirate. Otherwise, it will definitely become a disaster for marine. Garp, what's the name of this boy? Ah. You said Mufang. Garp said, monkey. Monkey D. Mufang. Nani? Sengoku was taken aback, it's from your family. No. I'm just an orphan, and I've already recognized him as a grandson. Don't worry, Sengoku. I will train him as the first marine. After speaking, Garp directly hung up the phone worm. And hearing Garp say this, Sengoku started to feel pain. Durag, you said the same. The results of it? Cultivated the #1 criminal in the world. But Sengoku didn't mention this matter, because for Garp, who has dedicated his life to marine, no one is more saddened by this matter than him. After this incident, Garp's training for Mufang was even more demanding. The morning was physical training with Luffy and Ace. The afternoon was Garp's one-on-one confrontational training, even if Garp controlled his strength to the same level as Mufang. But it is still possible to abuse Mufang. Half a year passed quickly, and Garp's vacation was over. Returned to naval headquarters, but did not bring Mufang. Because according to Garp, Mufang's strength is still too young. If he confronts the pirates of New World, he might be hacked to death. Listen, Mufang's scalp is numb, you old bastard. This is the posture when I am going to join Marine and want to throw me into the second half of the Grand Line. Ever since, Mufang honestly lived in Fengjie village. Chapter 6. All day long with Luffy and Ace, playing around on the trash mountain. The beasts around Fengjie village have been miserable, and various pranks have made the villagers in Fengjie village angry. Tenten, the village chief of Windmill village, chased and beat the three of them. Although Garp did not continue to apply for leave, he did come back once every 2 or 3 months. As a marine hero, Garp's qualifications in marine are too old. Even the marine marshal, Sengoku, didn't know anything about him, and turned a blind eye to Garp's lazy behavior. It has been 3 years since I came to Pirate World. This time, Garp was lazy again and returned to Windmill Village. But Mufang, Luffy and Ace, the 3 brothers gathered in the base of Garbage Mountain. Mufang, have you really decided? Are you going to follow the old man and become a marine? Ace looked at Mufang and said indignantly. Yes, Mufang. It's great to be a pirate, come and be my deputy captain. Luffy also echoed. In Luffy's mind, there is no concept of marine yet. Idiot, Mufang is my deputy captain. Ace and Luffy quarreled. With these 2 live treasures, Mufang held his head helplessly. Pub Future ads. Well, you 2 don't quarrel. Mufang said helplessly, it's like your dream is to become the One Piece. My dream is to become Marine Marshal. Do you want to prevent me from realizing my dream? But, Ace was still unwilling. Mufang smiled and took 2 steps forward, carrying Luffy and Ace's necks. He smiled and said, no matter what our position is, we are all brothers. And, when you become a pirate in the future, don't be arrested by others before I arrest you. How is it possible? I am determined to become One Piece. Damn it, the pirate Wang is obviously mine. Looking at Luffy and Ace who were arguing again, Mufang smiled. Standing on the bow of the battleship, the village of Windmills has gradually disappeared from sight. The look in Mufang's eyes became resolute. One Piece world, Mufang, is coming. Mufang, from today, you will be a glorious marine soldier. As your grandfather, I will not give you any preferential treatment. In Marine, any of your achievements and promotion depends on you. Hard work, understand? Garp said solemnly. I understand, old man. Mufang curled his lips, his expression somewhat casual. Now Mufang's strength, although I don't know if he can beat Admiral, he will win 3. But except for Garp, Mufang is confident that he will be completely blown up. Host, Mufang, read more at woo11ax.com. World, One Piece. Ability. Mangekyo Sherry Non-LV7 Monocular Mangekyo State Proficiency, 12.9%. Haki. Armament Haki LV8 Proficiency, 87.5%. Observation Haki LV8 Proficiency, 93.8%. Conqueror's Haki LV6 Proficiency, 73.4%. Marine 6 Styles. Finger Pistol LVMAX Proficiency, 100%. Extended Skills, Finger Pistol M500, Finger Pistol Metal Storm. Iron Body LVMAX Proficiency, 100%. Extended Skills, Iron Body No Dead Ends, Iron Body King Kong Body. Shave LVMAX Proficiency, 100%. Extended Skills, Shaving Residual Image, Shaving Silent. Moonwalk LVMAX Proficiency, 100%. Extended Skills, Moonwalk Meteor, Moonwalk Sunset. Tempest Kick LVMAX Proficiency, 100%. Extended Skills, Tempest Kick Death Cross. Paper Arts LVMAX Proficiency, 100%. Extended Skills, Paper Arts Martial Body, Paper Arts Infinite Body. Main Mission, Become Major General Marine. Mission Introduction, now that he has become a glorious Marine. As a host of the system, the starting point is at least a general. Mission duration, 3 years. Mission completed, randomly draw a skill card for one person in the world. The mission failed. Host will suffer hostility from all Marine forces. In 3 years, Mufang's strength has definitely increased explosively. Marine 6 Styles has been promoted to the highest level and even developed extended skills. And Armament Haki and Observation Haki have also been promoted to the level of LV8. Although the highest level of skills is LV10, reaching LV10 is the level of LVMAX. But it does not mean that you cannot continue to improve after LVMAX. For example, the system has stated that if Garp's Armament Haki is hierarchized, it is LVMAX 12, which means that it has broken the boundaries of the human body twice. After learning this, Mufang was speechless. My cheap grandpa is too strong. No wonder the Pirate King Roger, who was able to chase, hugged his head and scurrying on the sea, terrifying, terrifying. Malenvander, Naval Headquarters. From a distance, the Naval Headquarters is quite spectacular. On the wall of Naval Headquarters, there are 2 big black characters Marine. And in the middle of these 2 words is the sign of a seagull stepping on a wrench. Marshal Marine's Office. At this moment, almost all of Marine's top management have been gathered. Marshal Marine Sengoku of Buddha, General Staff of Marine Crane and Admiral Akadog, Kizaru, and Aokiji. As for Marine's purpose of gathering so many important people together, no one might believe it. They are waiting for a report from Marine 3rd Class. Boom, 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 the knock on the door sounded, instantly attracting everyone's attention. Come in. Sengoku said. The door was opened and Mufang walked in. When he walked to Sengoku, he saluted the army. He opened his mouth and said, "Report to the Marshal, 3rd Class Soldier Monkey D. Mufang will report to you." "Well, Libby." Sengoku nodded and said with satisfaction. Sengoku is very satisfied with the people trained by Garp who can be so polite. "Mufang? I often hear that old bastard Garp talk about you." Sengoku smiled. Suddenly, Sengoku turned around and said, "Then, See for yourself. With your current strength, what rank can I grant you? Mufeng was taken aback, but he didn't expect that Sengoku would not play the cards according to common sense. But Mufeng is not a polite master. After a moment of stunned, he opened his mouth and said, "Admiral, there are only 3 places. I won't compete with the 3 old guys." After that, Mufeng also pointed to the 3 admiral who were doing different things on the sidelines. Continued, "At least, give me a lieutenant general. Otherwise, in front of the old man, I will be a little shorter." Mufeng's words focused everyone's eyes on him. Aokiji, who wore a blindfold and closed his eyes, opened the blindfold and looked at Mufeng in surprise. This is the first time he has seen such an arrogant kid. "Oh haha. Lieutenant General yo." Kizaru cocked Erlang's legs and said wryly. "Huh. Lieutenant General? I don't know how high the sky is." The red dog said coldly. There was a hint of coldness in his eyes looking at Mufeng. The red dog pursues absolute justice. Anything that violates the world government will be regarded as a crime. And when he saw Mufeng, the red dog couldn't help thinking of Monkey D. Darag. Once the most powerful candidate for Marine Admiral, now it has established a revolutionary army and has become the most dangerous and most wanted criminal of the world government. The same talent is superb, the same surname. Akainu absolutely does not allow Marine to have a second Darag incident. Mufeng glanced at the red dog and frowned slightly. Some wondered why Akainu was so hostile to him. For the red dog, Mufeng doesn't feel too much ill. After all, he is also upholding his own justice. Of course, there is no good impression. Although it did not happen, if he did not intervene, Ace would definitely die in the hands of Akage. As for the relationship between myself and Ace, naturally, I don't need to repeat it. Hearing Mufeng's words, Sengoku was also taken aback. But then he smiled, not angry. After all, he was not without youth and vigor. He opened his mouth and said, "Mufeng. Every lieutenant general in naval headquarters has fought in the New World, but you can't compete. So, I will first grant you the rank of lieutenant colonel, and the promotion will depend on you. Strength." Read more at woo11ax.com. Lieutenant colonel? What a joke, I can't even finish the task. How can this work? See Sengoku to be sure. Mufeng hurriedly said, "Marshal Sengoku, at least I should check my strength." "Oh, isn't it?" Sengoku smiled and said, "Then I will call a midfielder from the headquarters to compete with you." No need to be so troublesome." Mufeng hurriedly waved his hand and said, "The lieutenant general in this department is very busy, it would be nice to disturb them. I think these 3 guys are quite idle, or just find one of them." Then Mufeng used his fingers again. Pointed to the 3 admiral who wandered into the sky. Seeing that Mufeng started 3 admirals' ideas, Sengoku knew that Mufeng was still unwilling to give up. Not to mention, young and vigorous naturally need to be tempered a bit more. Marine Admiral is a strong man standing on the top of the world, suppressing the power of the great pirate era. Even if Mufeng is evil again, he is just a 16 or 17-year-old boy, totally different. Never mind, Aokiji, you come to compete with Mufeng. Sengoku pondered for a moment, then spoke. Aokiji is a soldier from Garp, and Mufeng is Garp's grandson. Even if he defeats Mufeng, he will inevitably care about his affair and not embarrass Mufeng too much. This shows Sengoku's hard work. It's really troublesome. Aokiji murmured. But he didn't refuse, and stood up. After taking a look at Mufeng, he lazily said, "See you in the training ground, then." After speaking, he rushed out of the marshal's office directly. Mufeng didn't speak, and the corners of his mouth raised slightly. Moonwalk Meteor. Moonwalk is a physical skill that moves in the air by stepping on the air. After Mufeng trained moonwalk to full level, he developed an extended skill meteor. It even brought the characteristics of moonwalk to the limit, as fast as a meteor chasing the sun. Seeing Mufang speeding out, Sengoku couldn't help but shine. I still underestimated this kid. With just such an amazing 6 styles, Mufang's strength will never be weaker than any major general in his division. Without hesitation, Sengoku and his team rushed to the training ground. When Sengoku and his team arrived at the training ground, Aokiji was already fighting Mufang in a regiment. The surrounding area is surrounded by large spectators. Seeing Sengoku's arrival, he consciously gave up the best position. Frozen 2 spears. Aokiji didn't mean to be polite at all. A halberd-like ice spear appeared around Aokiji's body, and then slammed into Mufang. Hey! Tempest kick. Mufang directly blasted Tempest kick. The ice spear that shot at Mufang suddenly turned into ice slag on the ground. And Mufang's offensive obviously didn't mean to stop. Tempest kick Death Cross. Death Cross is an extended skill developed by Mufang based on Tempest kick. The vacuum slash blown by Tempest kick is actually like the slash of Tachi, showing the shape of one. The Death Cross blasted out more than 2 Tempest kick in an instant, blasting at the enemy in a cross shape, causing several times the damage. Unless you use armament haki, you can't resist it at all. The Tempest kick shot by Mufang is very fast, let alone a Death Cross. It's just between Setsuna that it has already blasted in front of Aokiji. Aokiji didn't have time to dodge. The Death Cross crossed Ran's body and instantly cut him into 4 pieces. However, there was no worry about Aokiji, because Aokiji is a Logia fruit-capable person. Elementalization is the most basic ability. Sure enough, Aokiji's separated body was glued together again, and the attack just now did not affect him at all. It's such a powerful 6 style, worthy of being the grandson of Lieutenant General Garp. Aokiji complimented. Then he continued, "It seems that I have to be more serious." Frozen Storm's Pheasant's Mouth. The voice fell, and the frozen shockwave blasted towards Mufang like a torrent. Finger Pistol Metal Storm. Mufang raised his hands, finger pistol's vigor densely vented towards the freezing shockwave. In no time, he completely offset the violent pheasant's mouth from Aokiji. And right here, Aokiji's voice suddenly rang from behind Mufang. "It's over." Frozen moment capsule. In the next second, the freezing breath swept all over Mufang's body, and Mufang also turned into a block of ice. "Very good, I already have the strength of a lieutenant." Sengoku nodded on the sidelines, obviously very satisfied with Mufang's strength. Even the average lieutenant general has no way to fight Aokiji for such a long time. Sengoku just wanted to speak, but was alarmed by the movement on the court. Gala, crunch, Aokiji also turned around abruptly. But seeing Mufang, who had just been frozen with all his strength, began to shake violently. Only moments later, the ice cubes frozen on Mufang's body were shaken into icy debris in the sky. As for Mufang, it seems that he has not been affected at all. As expected of Admiral, it seems to be a little more serious. Mufang was in high spirits. Armed color finger pistol M500. M500 is the most powerful pistol in the world. Mufang's finger pistol extension technique is named M500, which shows how powerful it is. Finger pistol, wrapped in the pitch-black armament haki, blasted Aokiji, and Aokiji's expression instantly changed. Armament haki can damage those with Logia fruit ability. The attack from Mufang made Aokiji feel a great sense of crisis. Without any thought, a thick ice wall appeared in front of Aokiji. However, under the bombardment of finger pistol M500, it was as fragile as a piece of paper, and it was directly penetrated. Read more at woo11ax.com. However, the ice wall also played a role as a hindrance, making Aokiji use the time of this gap to avoid the pest. At the same time, Aokiji launched another attack, frozen double storm pheasant's mouth. The cold air gathered on Aokiji's arms and released two huge ice birds, lifelike, and the air fanned by the wings was condensed into tiny ice particles. Obviously, the pheasant mouth released by Aokiji this time is stronger than the previous one. Paper Art's infinite body. Mufeng snorted softly. Infinite body is an extended skill of Paper Art's, which is more perverted than Paper Art's martial body. The simple understanding is that there are infinite possibilities. Under Mufeng's infinite body state, unless it is an all-round attack without any gaps, it is absolutely impossible to hit Mufeng. Frozen double thorny spear, frozen ice saber. No matter what kind of fierce Aokiji attack, Mufeng will cleverly dodge it. When facing the attack of Mufeng wrapped under armament haki, Aokiji can only dodge, looking a little embarrassed. The Sengoku and others nearby were also dumbfounded. Anyone can see that in the battle with Mufeng, Aokiji has completely fallen short. No one can believe that Mufeng actually has the strength to shake Admiral. What a joke. 17-year-old Admiral class combat power? Everyone is sluggish. For a while, there was no other sound on the entire training ground except for the sound of Mufeng and Aokiji fighting. Really? It seems there is no way. Aokiji murmured. The clay figurines are also 3-point fire, not to mention that Aokiji is Marine Admiral. Being pressed and beaten by a junior in this way, Aokiji has already suffocated his anger. The white mist representing low temperature was full of gas, and the ice cubes spread over half of Aokiji's body. Glacier, Aokiji just spit out 2 words. Suddenly a majestic voice sounded, "Well, this time the test is over. Aokiji, this is Naval Headquarters. If you continue, I'm afraid Naval Headquarters will become frozen in 2 or 3 weeks status." Hearing Sengoku's voice, Aokiji withdrew the white cold mist. Mufeng naturally knew that Aokiji was going to release his big move, the Ice Age. Aokiji's nirvana can even freeze the entire sea for up to 2 weeks. It can be seen how terrifying it is. This is also the fighting method of Logia-capable people, and there must be a sufficient battlefield. In other words, in the battle with Mufeng, Aokiji showed up to about 70% of his strength. However, Aokiji did not show 100% combat effectiveness, and Mufeng also had reservations. Don't forget that Mufeng opened the Mangekyo state of one eye. Mangekyo's pupil skills are extremely abnormal and can counter Admiral. At the same time, Mufeng has a clear definition of his own strength. If you fight with all your strength, you can fight against the strong at the Admiral level, such as Aokiji. But compared to the old Admiral, such as aka Inu and Kizaru, it may be weaker. Seeing Mufeng possessing such strength, Sengoku can be said to be very excited. For many years, Marine has never seen a good seed since the first term of Aokiji. But now there was a genius so enchanting. But then, Sengoku got a headache again. As for the reason, it is exactly which rank Mufeng should grant, which really makes it very difficult for Sengoku to decide. Being able to compete with Aokiji, there is no one who thinks that Mufeng has the qualifications to serve as a lieutenant general of the headquarters. However, Marine has never had this precedent. He was directly promoted from the 3rd rank to the lieutenant general. This is too trivial. After pondering for a moment, Sengoku looked at the crane on the side and asked, "Crane, how do you think you should draw up the rank of Mufeng?" He frowned and did not speak directly. Instead, he hesitated for a moment before speaking. Mufeng can compete with Aokiji and proves that there is no problem with his strength. Direct promotion to the rank of lieutenant general. Although there is no precedent, an exception can be made. The Marine generals on the side also started to discuss. It's too powerful, actually can compete with Aokiji Admiral fiercely. It is said that he is the grandson of Lieutenant General Garp, so powerful. Such strength can definitely deter New World pirates, enough to serve as a lieutenant general in the headquarters. Although the strength is sufficient, it is too young. Regarding the exceptional promotion of Mu Feng, Marine generals also differed in their opinions. I think it's feasible. Mu Feng's strength is also seen. Although he is very young, his strength is not bad. Kizaru suddenly said. What this old fox can see is clearer than anyone else. No matter what the result of Mu Feng's award today, with Mu Feng's talent, one day he will grow into Marine Admiral, and it is even possible to become Marine Marshal. Selling Mu Feng to save face now, why not do it? Anyway, it's just one sentence. Garp stood aside and didn't speak. Mu Feng is his grandson, he naturally needs to avoid suspicion. The opening of Kizaru and Tsuru made Sengoku's inner balance gradually tilted. And just as Sengoku was about to speak, suddenly a voice sounded. No, absolutely not. It's Akainu, the Akainu who hasn't spoken since the beginning. The red dog first glanced at Mu Feng, and then rushed to Sengoku and said, granting the rank of Lieutenant General to Mu Feng's headquarters is absolutely impossible. Without any merit, it is too much to be promoted directly from a third-class Marine to the headquarters. It's ridiculous. What does this make other Marine sergeants think? And Monkey. Huh, Marshal Sengoku, did you forget about Monkey D. Darag? Hearing Akino mention the name, the scene instantly became dull. Read more at woo11ax.com. Especially Garp, his face is even more gloomy and terrifying. Monkey D. Darag-Dragon. The son of Garp, he was also a Marine. And when he was more than 20 years old he was promoted to Lieutenant General of Naval Headquarters. However, it didn't take long for Darag to defect to Marine and form a revolutionary army. It has overthrown the world government as its own responsibility and is hailed as the most dangerous criminal in the world. Garp clenched his fist, and the veins on his arm burst. The defection of Darag had an extremely bad effect on Marine. If not, Garp is a Marine hero, a banner in Marine. And coupled with Sengoku's vigorous maintenance, I'm afraid Garp has already been imprisoned in Impel Down now. Sengoku's face is not very good looking either. Darag is Garp's son. From Sengoku's point of view, he is similar to his own son. Back then, Darag was promoted to Lieutenant General in the headquarters, and it was also caused by himself. None of the lieutenants around dared to speak. Then, the rank of Major General Mu Feng Naval Headquarters will be awarded. Sengoku was silent for a moment before speaking. And aka Inu, heard Sengoku's decision. Still not satisfied, he frowned and said, Marshal Sengoku, regarding the third-class title of Mu Feng, I think it should be. Enough, Sakazuki. Garp suddenly yelled, if you think the monkey family is sinful, then come to my trouble. Also, although Mu Feng is my grandson, he is not the blood of the monkey family. What else do you dissent? Garp looked at aka Inu coldly, his body was in the state before the battle. What happened to Darag, Garp couldn't change it. But for Mu Feng, Garp will never let him grow up in Marine because of himself or Darag. Even if he gets punished if it makes a big mess, Garp will never persuade him. Okay, let me stop for a while. Sengoku stepped and stood between the two. I have made a decision to grant Mu Feng the rank of Major General. It is impossible and will not change. Do you want to fight? Or do you want to spread the new world to Marine's internal discord and Marine tomorrow? Are the heroes and Marine Admiral openly fighting at Naval Headquarters as a joke? And you, are you free? Don't you need to deal with official business? The last sentence was obviously addressed to the Marine generals who were onlookers. In an instant, all the surrounding Marines scattered like birds and beasts. Mu Feng's eyes flickered, looking at the red dog, an imperceptible chill flashed in his eyes. I didn't provoke you, so you dare to come here. Don't you know that the hatred of the family and the country is not greater than the hatred that prevents people from getting promoted? In that case, then don't think about the position of your Marine Admiral for a long time. Fortunately, Xiao, I became a major general. Otherwise, I won't be able to complete the main mission, and I will definitely open Mangekyo directly to you. If you don't want to kill you, you have to make you feel like a shadow. Mufeng is not a benevolent master. If you offend me, don't blame me for messing with you. Lieutenant General Crane, Major General Mufeng, you two come to the office with me. Sengoku said. It seems, you can't prevent me from becoming a major general. Walking to the side of the red dog, Mufeng's contemptuous voice came into the red dog's ears. Then he shook the back of Akekano's head directly. You, Chikan trembling all over, pointed at Mufeng. But Mufeng didn't care about the red dog at all. Xiao will not necessarily kill you, but wait. It won't be long before the young master will not do anything to grind, he will also make you faceless, and he will continue to sit down in the position of Marine Admiral. When he came to the marshal's office again, Sengoku no longer had the same majestic appearance as before. Instead, he smiled and said, "Don't mind, Sakazuki is also for the stability of Marines. Military will refute your position as Lieutenant General of Naval Headquarters." "I won't care, Marshal," Mufeng said with a smile. Sengoku nodded and didn't say more. There is a gap between the subordinates. Sengoku can't do anything about it. Just like aka Inu and Aokiji. I don't know if it's because of devil fruit. Mufeng, do you know the G5 fortress? Sengoku asked suddenly. Hearing Sengoku's inquiry, Mufeng thought a little bit. Then he said, the Marine G5 branch is Marine's branch in New World, and it is also the only Marine branch in New World. At this point, Mufeng paused before continuing, and I heard that G5 is a different kind of Marine, or it's not like Marine but more like a pirate. Never obey naval headquarters orders and act, and there are bad actions such as killing pirates. Well, it's there. Sengoku nodded. I am satisfied with Mufeng's knowledge of the G5 branch, at least better than Garp. However, the reason why Mufeng knows about the G5 branch is entirely because the G5 branch appeared in the comics. Otherwise, how would Mufeng know that it is at that corner? Here, take a look. Sengoku said, and handed Mufeng a document. Mufeng took the file and looked at it. The general meaning of the document is, recently, the pirates of New World have been rampant, and even the Pirate Alliance has been assembled to attack the G5 branch. I hope Naval Headquarters can send high-end combat power to help the G5 branch withstand the impact from the Pirate Alliance. Mufeng, for the so-called Pirate Alliance. What do you think? Sengoku asked, read more at wu11ax.com. Sengoku looked at Mufeng quite a bit to test and teach Mufeng. Mufeng narrowed his eyes and thought slightly. After a while, he said, on the surface, it is very simple. The temporary mob of Pirate Alliance is loose, without rules, and lacks a stable commander. The attack on the G5 branch is nothing more than to show off. However, it is for me. It seems that there may be other possibilities. Oh, other possibilities? Tell me about it. Sengoku was very interested. Mufeng organized a language and said, first of all, we assume that the G5 branch is defeated by this group of so-called pirate alliances. Then bearing the brunt will have an immeasurable impact on Marine's reputation, even if Marine retakes the G5 branch in the future, nor can it recover the lost reputation. Correspondingly, the reputation of the pirate will be greatly boosted. Sengoku is very satisfied, because Mufeng agrees with his own ideas. I just wanted to praise Mufeng. Just listen to Mufeng continue to say, and, Marshal. I think the more important thing is the meaning of the existence of the G5 branch. As the only fortress of Marine in New World. The meaning of the existence of the G5 branch is definitely not just a Marine branch. It is like a nail stuck in New World. Its existence is announcing to the four seas and the Grand Line that in New World, in this sea area where pirates are most rampant, Marine has not lost its checks and balances. And if the G5 branch disappears, it means that Marine has completely lost the sea area, and it has no symbolic meaning. New World will completely become a paradise for pirates. The world will also think, New World is not under the jurisdiction of Marine or world conquest. At that time, I think it will be inevitable for the Four Seas and Grand Line to usher in the biggest pirate wave after Roger's death. Mufang said what he thought was the most serious possibility. But I don't know how much shock Sengoku was caused by his own words. Although Sengoku is known as the wise general, in terms of resourcefulness, Pirate World is no match. Back then, Sengoku was able to become Marine Marshal, precisely because Sengoku had a fancy to Sengoku's resourcefulness. But in Mufang's view, Sengoku, no, or it should be said that it is the entire pirate world. In terms of resourcefulness, they all seem too inferior. Not to mention that Aizen in the Shinigami world is a resourceful character. Sarutobi, Danzo, and others in the Naruto world will definitely blow up the pirate world. Hearing all of Mufang's analysis, Sengoku was already sweating coldly. Sengoku is not an idiot. All that Mufang said, he also tried to think about it. The result is definitely not optimistic. It was because of Roger's words that the era of the great pirates was set off, which shows how impetuous this world is. And now, when people know that there is a sea area in the world that is not under the control of the world government, what will happen? Absolutely, there is no denying that there will be another wave of pirates. Thinking of this, Sengoku was already fidgeting. I want to directly send Admiral-class combat power to suppress the group of pirates who intend to attack the G5 branch. But in the end, Sengoku hesitated. The reason why New World pirates are so rampant is because there is a tacit understanding between Marine and Four Emperors class pirates. As long as the Four Emperors stay in New World honestly, Marine will not rush to dispatch Admiral-class combat power to New World to suppress the pirates. But the current situation puts Sengoku in a dilemma. At this time, Sengoku suddenly remembered Mufang, the master of all insights. Although he is a major general, he has the strength comparable to Marine Admiral. Isn't he the best candidate? Major General Mufang, in the name of Marshal Naval Headquarters, I am sending you to the Marine G5 branch to suppress the Pirate Alliance. Can the task be completed? Sengoku asked with scorching eyes. A smile came up at the corner of Mufang's mouth, which was exactly the effect he wanted. In fact, even in the plot period, the G5 branch has nothing to do with it. The reason why Mufang said the consequences were so serious was to send himself to Sengoku, guaranteed to complete the task. Mufang respectfully saluted Sengoku. Then he smiled and said, "Marshal, I hope that when we meet next time, you can personally grant me the rank of Lieutenant General." "No problem, when you guy spins." Sengoku also smiled. The harbor of Naval Headquarters. "Major General, this is your battleship," Mufang's adjutant said. Mufang's adjutant was named Guy Er, and his rank was Major. About 30 years old, acting calmly, perhaps Sengoku was afraid that Mufang was young and vigorous, so he arranged specially. Here, the adjutants of General Marine Generals are the college officials corresponding to them. For example, Garps is at the rank of Lieutenant Colonel, while Mufang's adjutant is naturally at the rank of Major. "N? Are you sure, this is our battleship?" Mufang said with some doubts. It's not because the battleship doesn't suit Mufang's wishes. It's because it seems that his warship is not a major general. Mufang is not clear about the classification of marine warships, but he can be sure that his warship is larger than Garp's. Pub Future adds. Guy opened his mouth and said, "There is nothing wrong, this is specially instructed by Marshal Sengoku. The lieutenant warship of the Killing Magic Order is one model higher than that of Lieutenant Garp." And Marshal Sengoku said that the treatment of major generals is the same. "Lieutenant General." Mufang smiled, Sengoku still has a pretty good way to win people's hearts. Are all the sergeants on the battleship complete? Mufeng asked. N. Guy nodded and said, a lieutenant warship of the Demon Order level requires a total of 300 men. Marshal Sengoku personally selected 200 sergeants, who are definitely among the elite. The rest is from Garp. The one who will be deployed is also the corporal leader at the lowest level. Hearing this, Mufeng couldn't help but feel warm. Read more at wu11ax.com. Looking at a ship not far away, old man, thank you. Set sail, goal, G5 branch. Mufeng said. Yes, Major General. System, become a Major General. I have completed the main task, right? Mufeng asked the system silently, slightly expecting. Although the system is a bit unscrupulous, but the system is produced, but they are all excellent products. Congratulations to host for completing the main quest, become Marine Major General. Reward, then draw any skill card from any one of the heavens and worlds. The system is being selected, the selection is over, the selection is over. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the Shinigami World, Ueno Flower 8000 Stream Swordsmanship skill card. May I ask host, if you choose to withdraw the reward, if you don't withdraw, it will be regarded as abandonment. Extract. Please, don't ask more about this kind of nonsense. Mufeng was speechless. After complaining about the system, Mufeng looked forward to it. Who is the Yaes Hiwayaki in Liu? The greatest villain in the history of the Corpse Soul world. She prides herself on mastering all the genres and sword styles in the world, so she gave herself the name Yachin Liu. It is the horrible existence in the history of the Soul world, second only to Yamamoto Shijikuni and Yuhabuk. Swordsmanship alone has become the strongest sword art. How strong is her swordsmanship? Mufeng didn't know, but he definitely surpassed Hawkeye. In the next moment, the endless knowledge of swordsmanship was poured into Mufeng's sea of consciousness. It seems that thousands of swordsmen are demonstrating different genres of swordsmanship to themselves. And Mufeng, in just an instant, he has completely mastered all genres of kendo swordsmanship. Mufeng opened his eyes abruptly, sharp, and indomitable. The characteristics of these swordsmen were vividly displayed in Mufeng's eyes. But in the end, it fell into the ordinary. It is not a flash in the pan, but Mufeng's realm has reached a point of returning to the original. With this alone, Mufeng has already exploded the eagle eye. At this moment, the battleship underneath suddenly began to shake violently. Mufeng frowned, feeling like déjà vu. Major General, it's not good. Guy's flustered voice suddenly sounded. Ahead, the Overlord class Sea King class was found in the waters ahead, with a body length of more than 2 kilometers. My lord, even our warship belongs to the Demon Order class. General class battleship. But it can't withstand an impact of this kind of Sea King. Major General, do you want to prepare for abandoning the ship? Neptunes are the undoubted kings in this sea. However, the Neptune class over a kilometer is called the Overlord class Neptune class. This kind of wave stirred by the Sea Kings is enough to overturn the warships below the general rank. If it were to directly attack, even Admiral-class warships would definitely not be able to withstand a few moments. Overlord-class Sea King class. I really miss it. Back then, I just crossed the pirate world. After being rescued by the old man, he encountered an Overlord Sea King class. At that time, Garp threw himself into the ground with a punch. The shock brought by that punch, Mufeng still has a deep memory. Today, when I went to sea, I met such a Sea King. Really, lucky enough. No need to worry. Tell everyone, continue to sail along the original course. As for the Sea Kings, just leave it to me. Looking at his adjutant, Mufeng smiled lightly. He grabbed a long slender sword beside him, and walked towards the deck. Although he was about to encounter the Overlord Sea King class, the marine on the deck did not panic. Although very hurried, but still orderly. Mufeng is very satisfied with this. It is worthy of being a group of veterans who have experienced many battles. If it is replaced by a group of recruits, I'm afraid this will be messed up a long time ago, and it is very possible to even pee my pants in fright. Seeing Mufeng walked onto the deck, the sergeants all looked at him. Mufeng is the major general and the captain of this warship. On this battleship, Mufeng's orders are above all else. Don't worry, leave it to me. Mufeng looked at the crowd and said lightly. Mufeng's words seemed to contain some magic. Hearing his opening, the marine soldiers on the deck breathed a sigh of relief. Under the marine battleship is inlaid sea floor stones. Will exude the breath of the sea. Therefore, under normal circumstances, the Neptune class will not actively attack marine warships. But there are exceptions, such as when the Sea King surfaced and the battleship happened to be around him. Sea Kings are not blind, so they can see it naturally. It's like this. Mufeng walked to the front of the ship with Taishao in one hand. And the Sea King class that was about a kilometer away rushed over directly. You're pretty big. But I can't let you just bump into it like this. Otherwise, my warship will be broken. Mufeng said to himself. Holding the handle of the sword with his right hand, he slowly pulled out. It's been 3 years, you should be out of the sheath for the first time. I didn't expect one day to use you. The Tato in Mufeng's hand is exactly the one that came out of the novice gift package for completing the initial mission 3 years ago. Take the sharp boutique too much. I thought I didn't have the opportunity to use it, but I didn't expect that this time I got the swordsmanship of Yunahana Yachiryu. It's just right to use. This is a big sword that can be compared to a big knife. The Overlord level Sea King class, isn't it insulting you? Mufeng said. At the same time, slashed fiercely at this Overlord level Sea King class. No one can describe the brilliance of this knife. It seems that all the brilliance in the world is concentrated on the slash of this knife. In front of it, even the world was pale and dim. The pale sword aura appeared, as if rising in the wind. Read more at woo11ax.com. Between Setsuna, galloped past. When it invaded in front of the Sea King, the sword aura had reached hundreds of feet in length. The Sea King's skin that couldn't even be pierced by shells seemed to be papery in front of Mufeng's sword chi. Even the slightest hindrance was not achieved. When Mufeng's sword aura passed through its body, a slightly invisible blood stain appeared on the body of this Overlord level Sea King, extending the entire body. There was a slight pause for a few seconds. Bang! The blue blood rain is all over the sky. This Overlord Sea King type broke apart with this blood stain as the center. The two halves of the body slowly sank into the bottom of the sea. And the vision that was originally obscured by his huge body was widened again, and the Marines on the battleship discovered that, not only the Overlord level Sea King just now, even the sea surface. It was also cut directly by Mufeng's knife. Was Hawa Yachiryu's swordsmanship is rated LVMAX12 in the system. That is to say, the swordsmanship that broke the limit of Kendo twice. Such performance is a matter of course. There was silence on the battleship, and no one spoke at the moment. It's just a knife. In the face of this Overlord Sea King class that made ordinary lieutenants desperate, Mufeng solved it with a single blow. Too strong. Gurgling. I didn't know anyone, and swallowed. This originally slight voice was abnormally amplified at this moment. Guy's mind is also blank. Before serving as Mufeng's adjutant, he deliberately collected some information about Mufeng. The grandson of Lieutenant General Garp, after arriving at naval headquarters, challenged Aokiji Admiral and did not lose sight of it. So he was directly awarded the rank of Major General by Marshal Sengoku. But doesn't it mean that Major General Mufeng is proficient in 6 forms and haki? How can swordsmanship be so abnormal? Being able to be appointed by Sengoku as Mufeng's adjutant, guy's knowledge is not short, and he has also seen a strong swordsman. But there is no comparison with the knife that Mu Feng swung just now. Is it possible that Major General Mu Feng is a great swordsman? More importantly, Major General Mu Feng is only 17 years old. The 17-year-old great swordsman? And yes, Haki and 6 style alone can beat Aokiji Admiral's great swordsman. This is also, it's too abnormal. Mu Feng didn't know the psychological activities of his adjutant at the moment, and his attention was completely focused on the space backpack at this time. Well, Overlord level Sea Kings, I don't know how many experience scrolls can be dropped. It's best to upgrade observation Haki to LV9 first, so that you can perform your swordsmanship more perfectly. The ultimate observation Haki, and then the terrifying Haki. The enemy is expected to take the initiative, and the enemy is not prepared for it. Even if the current Mu Feng is against a 4 Emperors level powerhouse, he is not at all persuaded. Congratulations to the host for killing the Overlord Sea King class. Reward the Advanced Experience Scroll X3. Because it is a special creature, it rewards the host's special item Halustone X2. It has been put into the host's space backpack. Please pay attention to the host. The system sounded. The sound of the system made Mu Feng's eyes bright, even ignoring the experience scroll. Special creatures. What the hell? When I was in Windmill Village, in order to explode the experience scroll, he did not lose the Sea Kings, and even the Sea King who bit the red hair was killed by himself. In this regard, Luffy complained that he had robbed him of the blame. However, I have never encountered a special creature. System, what is a special creature? Mu Feng asked silently in his heart. A life entity with special abilities is called a special life. If you kill a special life, you have a chance to drop a special item. The voice of the system sounded. What special ability does the Sea King class have? Mu Feng wondered. The Overlord level Sea Kings all have a faint breath of the sea. It is precisely because of this that the body can grow so large. The system explained. Mu Feng nodded. It turned out that's the case. If so, then demon fruit power is not considered a special life. Will they drop devil fruit after killing them? Demon fruit power is a special life, and those who have broken the boundaries of the human body are also special lives? However, killing demon fruit power does not necessarily drop devil fruit, it may drop other special items. The system said. Hearing the explanation of the system, Mu Feng didn't feel much disappointed. One's own reliance is the system, and the ability obtained from the system. For devil fruit, Mu Feng lacks interest. Although it is undeniable that some devil fruits are indeed very powerful, but devil fruits have fatal flaws, that is, they will be disgusted by the sea, and will be subject to the sea floor stone. Mu Feng absolutely does not allow himself to have such a flaw. No more entanglement with devil fruit. Mu Feng lost all 3 advanced experience scrolls on observation Haki, and the 3 advanced experience scrolls also got his wish to upgrade Mu Feng's observation Haki to the level of LV9. Look at proficiency, 0.4% after observation Haki LV9 level. Mu Feng expressed his desire to cry without tears. Back in the day, when I killed the king of offshore in Windmill Village by myself, when I got the advanced experience scroll for the first time, he directly raised the level of LV6 armament Haki, who was still single-digit proficiency, to the level of LV7. It seems that the higher the level, the harder it is to increase the level of ability. The reason why Marine 6 Styles has improved so fast. That's because in the contest with Garp, there is a chance to drop the exclusive experience scroll of Marine 6 Styles. Experience scrolls that belong to skill type abilities will drop during the contest, read more at woo11ax.com. But like armament Haki, observation Haki, this type of experience scroll is not a skill type ability, you must kill the opponent to fall. So in 3 years, Mu Feng's Marine 6 Styles had already reached the full level early, while the improvement of other abilities became more and more difficult. Major General, it will take 5 days to arrive at the G5 branch. Will you inform the G5 branch? Guy respectfully asked Mufeng for instructions. Marine warships must contact the harbor to prepare the dock in advance. The head of the G5 branch, who is it now? Mufeng asked suddenly, narrowing his eyes. It's Lieutenant General Furgo. 3 months ago, Major General Furgo was promoted to Lieutenant General. He was appointed by Marshal Sengoku as the head of the G5 branch. Geyer replied. Furgo. A light flashed in Mufeng's eyes. The first generation of hearts in the Donquixote family is also the second strongest in the Donquixote family after Doflamingo. Following Doflamingo's orders, the undercover spies at Marine, and climbed to the position of Lieutenant General, as the G5 branch base commander, Deep Marine Trust. Furgo. Doflamingo. Pirate Alliance, interesting. Mufeng has a feeling that there must be some relationship during this period. Don't provoke yourself, otherwise I won't care if you are celestial dragons. The world government will care about your identity, but I won't. Have you heard that? The headquarters sent a major general to support us. It is said that he is the grandson of Lieutenant General Garp. He is only 17 years old this year. 17 years old? The milk hasn't been cut off, right? You have become a major general. The grandson of Lieutenant General Garp, may be very good. Awesome shit. You know, even the Red Dog Admiral and Kizaru Admiral, known as monsters, both became Marines after their 20s. 17 years old? I guess I haven't seen a pirate before, during the battle. Just don't hold us back. Marine in the G5 branch, even the chef has the life of a pirate. It's not so much Marine as it is a bunch of hooligans and villains. Privately talking about general-level officers, only this group of guys can do it. However, I have to say that Marine is able to survive in the G5 branch. They are the most elite Marines, and they are definitely not inferior to those of Naval Headquarters. G5 branch, Base Chief's Office. Dover, Naval Headquarters dispatched a Lieutenant General to support the G5 branch. Furgo killed all the doors and windows. Then he took out a phone worm, connected to Doflamingo who was far away in Dres Rosa, and reported his situation. Major General? How could it be just a Major General? Doflamingo was puzzled. Furgo explained, according to what I have learned from Naval Headquarters, this Major General who supported him is the grandson of Lieutenant General Garp. He is 17 years old. He has fought with Aokiji for a short time. Marine 6 styles and Haki are both very powerful. Have the potential to become Admiral. Garp's grandson has the potential to become Admiral. Doflamingo on the other end of the phone worm suddenly became silent. After a while, he suddenly laughed wildly. Fur, this kind of Marine genius, if you die in New World, it is estimated that Marine will go crazy. Maybe you will directly send Admiral to suppress New World's pirates, Garp. The old dog will definitely go crazy. Fur, then the world might become crazy, Furgo. I understand, Dover. Wilgo said in silence for a moment. I will send Diamanti, Guradias, and Baby 5 to support you. Isn't it a common occurrence for Major General Marine to die in the fight against pirates? Fur. Doflamingo made no secret of his arrogance. Doflamingo's purpose is simple, he wants the world to riot. He wants to overturn the world dominated by celestial dragons to relieve his anger. Mufeng's battleship sailed into the dock of the G5 branch harbor, surrounded by a group of disheveled Marines. Some wore slippers, some only wore a short pants, and some had a naked upper body. Anyway, no one was neatly dressed in a Marine uniform. A lieutenant general of the 2 Moling-level battleship, isn't it just a major general who came to support it? So what? Don't forget that his grandpa is Lieutenant General Garp. Cut. It turned out to be just a second-generation ancestor who came here to do his battle exploits. If we die in our G5 branch, we will probably be finished. What a bad luck. As soon as Mufang stepped off the battleship, he heard the voices around him talking about him. Frowning, he directly releases Conqueror's Haki. Conqueror's Haki is the most difficult to improve in Conqueror's Haki. 3 years of cultivation only allowed Mufang to upgrade Conqueror's Haki to the level of LV6. Even so, get rid of the 4 emperors and the strong ones of the older generation. Mufang's Conqueror's Haki is definitely not inferior to anyone. Although it still can't tear the sky to such a degree, if you use it with all your strength, not many people can handle it. The terrifying Haki raged out in an instant. The entire G5 branch is covered by the monstrous Haki Mufang. Under Mufang's control, he removed the more than 300 marines on the battleship behind him. All marines in the entire G5 branch harbor were crushed on the ground, most of them foamed at the mouth, and the remaining part wanted to struggle to get up, but couldn't do it. If you don't have the strength, just shut up. Mufang looked around and said lightly. Then he put away the raging Conqueror's Haki. Is it Major General Mufang? What a great Conqueror's Haki. With your help from Major General Mufang, it seems that the Pirate Alliance is nothing to worry about. Sorry, the branch is so busy that I couldn't come to meet Mufang in the first time. Major General. Wilgo walked out from somewhere. Wearing a plaid coat, sunglasses, lightning-shaped sideburns, holding a bamboo. There is also a hamburger steak on the cheek on the right. It's okay, Lieutenant General Fergo. Mufang smiled faintly. Read more at woo11ax.com. At this time, Fergo looked at Mufang's eyes, and there was obviously a little more fear. Conqueror's Haki represents a kind of fate, a kind of king's fate. At the beginning, the 4 of them recognized Doflamingo as the master because they discovered that he has the potential to start Conqueror's Haki. Although fearful, Fergo didn't mean to be afraid, because Conqueror's Haki couldn't form combat power at all before reaching a certain level, so he could only clean up the miscellaneous fish. Fergo could not believe that Mufang's Conqueror's Haki reached the level of 4 emperors. Lieutenant General Fergo, can you explain to me the situation now? Mufang asked bluntly. There is no meaning to fight with Fergox and the snake. In Mufang's view, it is a simple matter to run Fergo to death. A chill flashed in Fergo's eyes. Naturally, although he is only a lieutenant general of the branch, he is on the same level as the major general of the headquarters. But I am also the head of the G5 branch. The attitude towards oneself is actually a pretentious attitude. If it was changed to another marine branch, Mufang would be more polite. But for Fergo, Mufang already knew his identity. As marine, be kind to a pirate? What a joke. Before leaving by himself, Fergo must be dealt with. Fergo is a master of armament haki, and the probability of dropping armament haki's exclusive experience scroll is very high. Naturally, Mufang will not miss it. Fergo did not show any hostility, and said in a deep voice, the situation is very bad. This time the Pirate Alliance, which intends to attack the G5 branch, consists of a total of 17 pirates, all of which are pirates in New World. The amount is more than 200 million. Especially the 2 pirate groups, the Terror Tomahawk Pirates and the Tiger Pirates. Mufang nodded. Is there anything special about these 2 pirate groups? This information was recorded in the documents Fergo reported to Sengoku. Mufang also saw the file. But apart from the pirate group that appeared in the comics, Mufang has no idea about the other big pirates in New World. Hearing Mufang's question, Fergo was obviously taken aback. In Fergo's view, since Mufang is here to support the G5 branch, at the very least, you should also have an understanding of the enemy. I don't know anything, but I dare to come, when New World is everywhere. This kind of arrogant guy does not seem to be a cause for concern. In Fergo's mind, his evaluation of Mu Feng was instantly lower. However, he immediately explained, the Terror Tomahawk Pirate Group is a pirate group under the Big Mom Pirate Group. Captain Mok is a big pirate with a reward of 470 million. The supernova entered the New World as a supernova and was acquired by Big Mom. He is good at hacking. The Tiger Pirates is a pirate group affiliated with Beasts Pirates. Captain Fiji's is the user of Zoan Tiger Fruits, offering a reward of 520 million. Big Mom Pirates, and Beasts Pirates. I didn't expect to have a relationship with these two behemoths just after entering the New World. But it's normal. The Four Emperors are a group of pirates that dominate the New World like an emperor. The current New World is not the turbulent world after Whitebeard's death. The dominance of the Four Emperors in the New World is absolute, almost carve up the entire New World. A big pirate with a little bit of strength must choose a force to rely on. Otherwise, it is impossible to survive in New World at all. Where are they now? Mu Feng asked suddenly after thinking slightly. Located in the northwest of the G5 branch, Selves Island. The 17 pirate groups have already assembled, but I don't know when they will attack the branch. Virgo said. Guy, is there any eternal pointer for Selvis? Mu Feng asked suddenly. Yes, Major General. Guy replied. Give it to me. Mu Feng said. Guy froze for a moment, but then handed the permanent pointer to Mu Feng. After receiving the permanent pointer, Mu Feng looked at it and put it in his pocket casually. Ordered, not far from here, I'll rush over first. Guy, the whole army. I will see my warship on service in an hour, can it be done? Major. Chapter 15. It can be done, Major General. Geyer did not hesitate, saluted, and then turned to return directly to the battleship. Not only Guy, but after Mu Chen slayed that Overlord Sea King class with a single sword. The Marine on the entire battleship has completely surrendered to Mu Chen. Major General Mu Feng, what are you going to do? Fergo was a little dumbfounded. Taking a look at Fergo, Mu Feng said lightly, don't you hear it? I am going to Serves Island to annihilate the Pirate Alliance. It is not my style to sit and wait, Lieutenant General Fergo, I also order you, immediately reorganize the army. I appeared in service when I was a kid. Don't think about rejection, this is an appointment letter. The moment I set foot on the G5 branch, I will command everything in the G5 branch. Ignoring Fergo's sullen face completely, Mu Feng stepped on the moonwalk, several air bursts, his figure disappeared. Service Island. It was originally just an ordinary island. At this moment, there were 17 pirate groups, as many as thousands of pirates. Figs, a thin body, if he is someone who doesn't know him, no one would dare to think that this guy who looks like he would fall to the ground when the wind blows, would actually be a capable person of tiger and tiger fruit. At the moment he is look at the information that his men handed to you. Figers, what's the matter? A sturdy man said. In the Pirate Alliance, the only person who can directly call Fiji's name is Mork, the leader of the Terror Tomahawk Pirates. Although the two belonged to different Four Emperors' forces, they were both born in the same town in the South China Sea. Therefore, there is a lot of friendship between each other, otherwise they will not unite and intend to attack the G5 branch. It's nothing, a message from Lord Jack. Figers said casually. Master Jack. Mok was taken aback, then his pupils shrank suddenly. He couldn't help but said in astonishment, could it be the Drought Jack of the three major disasters? Figers, it seems that you are doing well in Beasts Pirates. I originally wanted to bring you under the ant. How is it possible? Master Jack just gave me an order to kill a Marine Major General named Mu Feng in this operation, and also said to cooperate with Doflamingo's subordinates. Fijas, I said with an unhappy expression. Kill a Major General, and give it a special explanation. Mok said with a look of surprise, read more at woo11ax.com. I don't know why, maybe this Major General offended Doflamingo. Kaido-sama seems to be making a deal with Doflamingo. Recently, Beast's Pirates often discusses Doflamingo this guy. Fijis shook his head. Fijers, because you have eaten tiger fruit, why are you still like a girl? When I see the Major General named Mufeng, I will help you cut him with an axe. Mok waved beside him one by one. Mito's huge axe said contemptuously. Really? I really want to know, how are you going to chop me off with an axe? Suddenly a faint voice sounded behind Mok. Who? Figs and Mork were both surprised at the moment. Someone was lurking next to him, and he didn't even notice it? If this person just took advantage of this opportunity to attack. Fijis and Mork could not help but be afraid. Aren't you talking about me all the time? Why do you still ask who I am? Mufeng shrugged and said helplessly. You are Mufeng. Fijis' pupils shrank suddenly. Mufeng smiled and said, that's right. Congratulations, it doesn't seem to be too dumb. Mufeng? Is that the Marine Major General you mentioned, Figs? A Marine Major General who was not honestly staying at the Marine base, actually ran to me. Haha. Figs, let me help you. The axe killed him. Mok smiled cruelly. As if he had already seen the sight of Mufeng's brain cracking when he went down with an axe. Mork raised the giant axe high in his right hand. First, the entire arm was wrapped in armament haki and turned black. Then armament haki extended along the axe handle to cover the entire axe. The axe covered by armament haki flickered under the sunlight. The icy cold light. With a grinning grin, Mok's giant axe slashed at Mufeng head-on. But Mufeng just lifted the sword in his hand, and easily resisted Mokshi's axe. Although Mufeng's strength is weaker than Mok. But Mufeng's swordsmanship is inherited from Uajawa Yachiryu's swordsmanship. And there are many unloading skills in the swordsmanship of Uenohana Yachiryu, and all the hacks of Mok's axe are very heavy. However, 99% of the strength was subtly resolved by Mufeng, and he could bear less than 1% of the strength. Well, can it only reach this level? It seems that the big pirate offering a reward of 470 million is nothing more than that. In that case, Mufeng raised his right hand. Mok, get away! Fijis shouted. But it was too late, and Mufeng's index finger wrapped in armament haki had already rushed towards Mok. Armed color finger pistol M500. The terrifying black finger pistol directly penetrated Mork's head. Terror Tomahawk Pirates Captain Mok. 3 years ago, he landed on New World as the strongest supernova and joined the Big Mom pirate group. He offered a reward of 470 million Baileys. In New World, he was also called the Big Pirate, but was single-pointed by Mufeng. Boom. After solving Mok, Mufeng turned his gaze to Figs, who was aside. At this time, Figs was completely changed. The body is taller than a few meters, and the muscles on his body are inflated like an inflated balloon, and the whole body is covered with golden brown hair. No one can imagine the weak look just now. Chapter 16. The muscles all over his body were tense, and Fijers stared at Mufeng for 12 points of attention, but Mufeng didn't mean to make a move. Instead, he looked at the dense forest to the side and said, 3 little bugs of the Doflamingo family, do you have to let me pick you out? The voice fell, and a tempest kick blasted into the dense forest. Like a terrifying slash, countless trees were directly cut off. 2 men and 1 woman, 3 figures also appeared. The head was a tall and thin young man dressed in a red cloak, dressed like an indigenous tribe, with 2 red facial lines on his face, giving people a funny feeling. Behind him, on the left side, was a guy with an explosive head. Behind him, on the right, is a tall beauty with long black hair wearing a maid costume. Diamanti, Gurudayas, Baby 5. Among the 3 cotters under Doflamingo's command, Diamanti is the highest cotter, and all 3 are capable of devil fruit. Diamanti is the banner man who ate the flying fruit, Gurudayas is the blaster who ate the popped fruit, and the Baby 5 ate the weapon fruit. In the Doflamingo family, they are considered very powerful. Cotters. What a great Marine 6 styles, it's worthy of the young master who asked us to be more careful. If you kill you, Marine will definitely feel heartache. Diamanti said. I think it should be. Mufeng nodded, with a look of approval. If you really kill yourself, don't talk about others. The old man will be crazy. And the old man is crazy, the whole new world will be unlucky. It is not impossible to intensify the contradiction between Marine and the pirates. Doflamingo is probably the same as the abacus. You said. If I kill you, will Doflamingo go crazy? Mufeng turned around and asked with interest. Although Doflamingo is a scumbag, New World's various dark activities are indispensable to his shadow of Doflamingo. But for his subordinates, that is, members above the Don Quixote family cotters, Doflamingo is still very good. As long as it is not betraying oneself, other mistakes will be forgiven. Hey, you are really young and energetic. Before I die, let me teach you a lesson. New World is not something you can step into. This is the world of pirates. After Mandy finished speaking, he pulled out the western sword from his waist. Read more at woo11ax.com. Then he threw it at Mufeng. At the same time, he shouted in his mouth, fluttering bullfighting scepter. The ability to fly the fruit can turn any touched object into a thick and light form. And the material of this object will not change. Diamanti turned the sword body of the western sword he carried with him into a light and fluttering form like a thick cloth, and then continuously wrapped it into a bullfighting posture, and then restored it to its original hardness to form a terrifying steel bullfight. The steel bullfight carried an unparalleled impact and blasted towards Mufeng. Tempest Kick Death Cross. Mufeng's attack directly blasted towards Diamanti. The Death Cross and the Bull Scepter blasted together. The terrifying vacuum wave directly shattered the steel bullfight. If it hadn't been for Diamanti to feel the tremendous power from the hilt and avoid the past at the last moment, I am afraid this would have been cut into 4 pieces by the Death Cross. Gurudayas, Baby 5, go ahead. Diamanti shouted. Without Diamanti's orders, Gurudayas and Baby 5 on the side had already started to attack separately. The 2 people who ate the explosive fruits and the weapon fruits, in the Don Quixote family, are the ones with the highest force value except for Doflamingo and the top cotters. Diamanti is also the strongest among the highest cotters, second only to Pika. Even the top lieutenant generals of Huashaishan and his ilk can't beat the team of 3 at the same time. And if it weren't for Admiral, it would be impossible to stop the 3 who wanted to escape, so Doflamingo was very relieved about this action. Blasting projectile. Gurudayas attacked. Countless black rocks shot towards Mufeng and continued to expand. Weapon transformation, Missile Girl. Baby 5's attack. Baby 5 turned into a giant missile, and then blasted Mufeng with the reaction force of his legs kicking on the ground. The black projectile suddenly exploded when it was about to hit Mufeng. The Baby 5 transformed missile also steadily hit Mufeng's body. At the same time, a huge explosion occurred. With Mufeng as the center, the surrounding area of 50 meters was shrouded by the explosion. Did you get rid of him? Diamanti stared at the center of the explosion. The smoke gradually dissipated. Diamanti's pupils shrank sharply. How is it possible? Diamanti couldn't believe it. Originally, he never thought that such an attack would be able to solve Mufeng. After all, Mufeng's Marine 6 styles is so powerful, it is impossible not to armament haki. But Mufeng in front of him, didn't use armament haki at all, and just carried such a violent explosion with his body. Iron Body King Kong Body. Iron Body's extended skills have defenses comparable to armament haki. Let go, let me go. Baby 5's hands were firmly imprisoned by Mufeng with one hand like handcuffs. No matter how hard Baby 5 can't break away. Looking at this thorny rose, the corner of Mufeng's mouth suddenly raised slightly. I need you. I need you to stand aside and stay still, okay? Mufeng said suddenly. For Baby 5, Mufeng did not have any disgust. On the contrary, it can only be said that she is too pitiful and needs to be strongly recognized by others. You said, you need me. Baby 5 was obviously taken aback. Mufeng nodded and said with a smile, of course, I need you very much. There is always a lack of someone on my boat who can take care of my daily life. I think you are a very suitable candidate, so if you kill you, I will be very upset. Chapter 17. Well, okay. Baby 5 couldn't help nodding. Hearing that it is needed, Baby 5 will not refuse anyone's request. Because of this, Baby 5 owed 98 million pele in debt, and even had more than 50 fiancés, but all were killed by Doflamingo. For this reason, Baby 5 has repeatedly stated that he wants to kill Doflamingo. Damn it! Baby 5, what are you doing? Diamante shouted. Originally, when I brought Baby 5 to perform this mission, I had this consideration. Baby 5 never rejects others, and often loses the chain in battle, but Doflamingo thinks that Marine will not know about Baby 5. Baby 5 was also sent to perform this mission. After all, the weapon fruit is a very powerful paramecia fruit. Okay, then you can get rid of you without scruples. Looking at several people, Mufeng suddenly showed a faint smile on his face. It's ridiculous. I was the one who solved you. Because of Baby 5's rebellion, Diamante's face was not so good. Pulling a strip of cloth from the cloak and shaking it casually, it turned into a western longsword shining with cold light. When the longsword just turned into a bullfighting scepter to attack Mufeng, it was crushed by Mufeng's death cross. Half a month, funeral. Diamante raised the longsword in his hand high, and then slammed it down. The sword energy that seemed to cut the earth suddenly appeared. The fierce sword spirit blasted straight towards Mufeng, and the ground in front of Diamante was divided into two like cutting tofu. This is not the power of fruit, but pure swordsmanship. To be able to blast such a fierce slash, there is no doubt. Diamante is a swordsman, a top swordsman. If Diamante's swordsmanship is hierarchical, then it is LV10. That is to say the full level. And if it can break the boundaries of swordsmanship, then it is the level of a great swordsman, but the number of great swordsmen in the entire pirate world is also one of the few. Red hair counts as one, Hawkeye counts as one, Beiste can only be counted as half at most. Read more at woo11ax.com. Although in the plot, Diamante's strength is very scumbag. However, the swordsmanship of this hand, coupled with the ability to fly fruits, is absolutely comparable to the top lieutenant general. Master Diamante, are you going to use your full strength? Gurudayas thought, it seems that the battle will be over soon. Do you want to compete with swordsmanship? You are still far behind. Mufeng smiled, and at the same time drew out the slender tachi that was tied to one side of his body. Then he slashed out. The same sword spirit. If Diamante is a strong man standing on the top of a swordsman, then Mufeng is a strong man of the supreme swordsman level that surpasses the great swordsman. How can the two be the same day? And the language? The two sword auras collided together, stirring up a terrifying wave of air. In front of Mufeng's sword aura, Diamante's sword aura was as fragile as tofu, and was directly shattered by the bombardment. Diamante had no idea that Mufeng would be so strong. He didn't realize it until the sword gas blasted in front of him. Want to dodge, but it's too late. He could only turn sideways slightly, but his right arm was still severed. Ag. He kept rolling on the ground, cursing Mufang constantly in his mouth. Suddenly, Diamanti pressed the ground with one hand. Army flag. With Diamanti's voice falling. The ground under Mufang's feet has completely turned into a light and fluttering form like cloth. But for Mufang, who exhibited paper art's infinite body, let alone a substantial object like cloth, even standing on a cloud, it will not lose its balance. No matter how the earth flutters, Mufang can still maintain his balance. Damn! Good audience! Diamanti shouted suddenly. Immediately, the whole land surged towards Mufang like a huge churning wave. Understood, Lord Diamanti. Blasting rock super show. Gurudayas's strongest move. In an instant, Gurudayas set up countless detonating mechanisms on the fluttering ground. Then the whole land began to expand, and when the expansion reached its maximum, it was directly detonated by Gurudayas. The terrifying explosion caused a mushroom cloud to rise suddenly over Selvis Island. Quick, speed up. The Major General has already had a fierce battle with the pirates, we must rush over as quickly as possible. Guy led the battleship. After that, another Lieutenant General battleship, Wilgo stood at the bow of the ship. That's Gurudayas' ability. Has Diamanti already played against Mufang? Damn Guy, completely interrupted my plan. Fergo's face was ugly. Originally, he should be the main force to intercept Mufang, but Mufang did not play his cards according to common sense. As soon as he arrived at the G5 branch, he went directly to Service Island, and he had no way to act. Although the Gula Davis Rock Super Show is very powerful, it still cannot pose the slightest threat to Mufang. After the explosion, Mufang looked at Gurudayas and said faintly, "You stained my clothes. So as a plea, just go and die." Tempest Kick Death Cross. The terrifying Tempest Kick slashed, directly cutting Gurudayas into 4 pieces. Congratulations, host, kill those who can explode the fruit. Reward the Advanced Experience Scroll X1, because it belongs to a special life, reward the host an additional scroll of explosion ability. Chapter 18. Blasting Ability Additional Scroll. What? Forget it, go back and study. Mufang was slightly distracted, and then walked towards Diamanti. You, what do you want to do? Diamanti's voice was full of fear. Mufang smiled and said, "Don't worry, I won't kill you. After all, I still want you to catch the big fish Doflamingo." What? Your goal is young master. Hearing Mufang mentioning Doflamingo's name, Diamanti was not in fear. Instead, he said grimly, "Haha. Young master will definitely catch you. Wait, I will definitely cut off both of your arms at that time." I was too lazy to listen to Diamanti's nonsense and kicked him faint. The battle between Mufang and Diamanti and Gurudayas made a lot of noise. The pirates who were originally scattered on the island also rushed over. Headed by Fijis, and the captain of the 15 pirates excluding Mork. The captain of the pirate group of New World, the weakest bounty is 200 million Baileys. Really, I just slipped away just now, don't I take the opportunity to escape? Anyway, I won't bother to arrest you again. But what does it mean that you appear in front of me again? Now, if I forgive you again, fate can't be justified. Mufang said helplessly as he looked at Figs. Do you think that under our siege, you can still get out of Selves Island alive? Fijis yelled, but it gave the human the feeling of being strong in the middle. Siege? Are you sure? Mufang suddenly smiled. What do you mean? Fijis suddenly had a bad feeling. It doesn't mean anything, it's just preparing, to solve you all in an instant. The tone of Mufang's speech was very plain, just like an ordinary chat. But at the moment when the voice just fell, a terrifying aura raged from Mufang, In an instant, it swept through the entire Selves Island. In just a moment, thousands of pirates surrounding Mufeng. Read more at wu11ax.com. It's like dumping dumplings, one by one falling to the ground. Foaming at the mouth and fainted. Only 20 large pirates with a reward of more than 100 million are left who can stay awake. But most of them are just struggling to support it. Conqueror's haki. Fijas stared wide. In New World, a pirate who owns Conqueror's haki is like a Crucian carp who crosses the river. If haki is the ticket to the New World, then Conqueror's haki is the pass to ride in the New World. 4 emperors are the best among them, and Fijers can naturally recognize it. The miscellaneous fishes are solved, it should be you now. Mufeng said lightly. At the same time, he drew out the sword on his waist, shaving his feet, and disappeared in place. Extreme speed, coupled with terrifying swordsmanship. In an instant, Mufeng cut off the lives of these 20 people. All were pierced with the sword and there was no second wound. Even when the tato in Mufeng's hand was returned to the scabbard, there was no drop of blood on the bright white knife. Tiger fruit? I didn't expect it to actually burst devil fruit. However, 7 demon fruit powers. No, there are 8 demon fruit powers for Gurudayas. Actually, only 1 devil fruit burst out. This kind of violence rate is a bit low. And, what the hell is the skin repair liquid? Which guy burst it out? Mufeng muttered to himself. Big, sir, you have solved it? Guy looked dull. Well, clean up the battlefield. Mufeng said. Then he looked at Fergo on the side, the corners of his mouth slightly raised. Jokingly said, "What's wrong, Lieutenant General Fergo? Seeing that I'm still alive, you seem surprised, do you think I'm dead?" "No, how could it happen?" Wilgo said with a smile. "But no matter how you look at it, it gives people a feeling of strong smile. Damn, how could it be possible? How come Mufeng is still alive?" That said, Diamantai and the others. Fergo's eyes flickered. Looking around, I quickly found Gurudayas cut into 4 pieces, Diamantai lying on the ground with a broken arm, and Baby 5 standing honestly in the corner. Oh, by the way, Lieutenant General Fergo. I suspect that 80% of the Pirate Alliance incident is related to Doflamingo. This guy seems to be a cotter of the Don Quixote family. Mufeng pointed to Diamantai, then looked at Fergo said meaningfully. Doflamingo in Shichibukai. Fergo said with a shocked face. Well, it's him. Mufeng nodded. Then he instructed Guy to the side, "Guy, lock him up with sea-building stone handcuffs. Detained in the sea-building stone prison at the bottom of the battleship. Remember, no one is allowed to visit except me. Including Vale Lieutenant General GE is included, understand?" "Understood, Lord Mufeng." Guy did not hesitate. He is Mufeng's adjutant, which is equivalent to the eunuch next to the emperor. From the moment he became Mufeng's adjutant, he was labeled as Mufeng. Regardless of Mufeng's orders, he will execute them without hesitation. After giving instructions to Guy, Mufeng looked at Fergo apologetically. Said, "Lieutenant General Fergo, this incident involves Shichibukai, all must be treated specially. If Lieutenant General Fergo feels that I have violated the rules, please forgive me. After all, everything is for justice." Mufeng finally laughed. "Where, Major General?" Mufeng said and laughed. Fergo's smile seemed unnatural in every way. However, Mufeng could see clearly the killing intent in his eyes and the clenched fists. Chapter 19. The Pirate Alliance was defeated, the Marines of the G5 branch were relieved, and the entire branch was in a carnival. No one noticed that a figure infiltrated Mufeng's battleship while it was dark. Use observation haki to avoid all guards. The figure dived into the bottom of the battleship, Halashi prison. At this time, Diamantai was clutching her shoulders and wailing, cursing Mufang. Diamanti. Diamanti. Who? Diamanti stopped wailing. Fergo? It's you? Haha, I knew you would come to save me. Diamanti was overjoyed when he saw the visitor. Don't talk, I'll save you first. Fergo said solemnly, my estimate of Mufang's strength was wrong. Go back and tell the young master that the plan for Mufang is best to stop. He has Conqueror's Haki, and not inferior to the young master. Ah! How could it be possible? Diamanti's face was full of horror. At this moment, a voice suddenly sounded. Oh, Lieutenant General Fergo. Why are you here? Didn't I already say that no one is allowed to visit here? Or should I call you, the first generation of hearts of Don Quixote family Fergo? It was Mufang, with his arms around him, watching Fergo playfully and said. Upon hearing Mufang's words, Fergo's pupils shrank sharply. Staring at Mufang fiercely, he asked gloomily, does Naval Headquarters know who I am? No, no, it's me, I know who you are. Mufang shook his head. Really? Wilgo breathed a sigh of relief. Looking at Mufang with a cold smile on his face, then as long as I kill you, my identity, Naval Headquarters, will not be known. I am still the head of the G5 branch, and you are the one who died in the New World battle. Major General of his headquarters. As he said, Fergo's whole body was covered with a purple-black armament haki. Of course, but I don't think you have this strength. Mufang laughed. Hearing Mufang's words, Fergo had a grinning smile on his face. Boy, Conqueror's Haki doesn't mean everything. In New World, there are many dead Conqueror's Haki masters. Fergo said. Oh, I know. Mufang nodded. Suddenly, the conversation turned, however, if you don't even have Conqueror's Haki, more fish will die. Read more at woo11ax.com. You are looking for death. Violent light appeared in Fergo's eyes. Armament Haki wrapped the bamboo stick in his hand and violently attacked Mufang. Ghost bamboo! Wilgo shouted. Bang! Boom! Boom! Immediately, a series of air bursts sounded. Without the power of Devil Fruit, only with the power of Armament Haki, Fergo became a Lieutenant General of the Marine Branch and served as the base commander of the Marine G5 branch. It can be seen that Wilgo's accomplishments on Armament Haki are very powerful. In terms of Armament Haki, Mufang is inferior to Fergo. The sword in his hand was pulled out abruptly, and the sword flashed. The bamboo stick that Fergo struck was directly cut off by Mufang. In this case, Wilgo didn't expect it. But Wilgo was also decisive, and directly abandoned his weapon, attached Armament Haki's punch, and blasted towards Mufang's abdomen. Back then, with such a punch, he almost beat Khorasan to his death. And now, his Armament Haki is amazing. But when Fergo's fist hit Mufang, his face suddenly changed. What happened? Own fist, it's like hitting a ball of air? Shave after image. The extended skill of the 6-style shaving, beyond the movement of visual response, makes the enemy mistakenly believe that he is still standing in place, and the speed is 10 times that of shaving. It seems, you can't even tell where I am. Mufang's abusive voice suddenly sounded from behind Fergo. Fergo wanted to turn around, but it was too late. The tato in Mufang's hand has been swiped across Fergo's waist, even though Fergo's body is in Armament Haki's package. But under Mufang's slash, it was still as fragile as a piece of tofu, and was directly cut into 2 pieces. Looking at his lower body, Fergo was stunned. How can it be? Is he going to die like this? Then he looked at Mufang, his eyes filled with puzzlement. Obviously just a major general, why is it so strong? But Fergo will never know the answer to this question, because Mufang flashed several knife lights in his hand, and Fergo was directly chopped into dozens of pieces. The first generation of the Red Heart of the Don Quixote family died. Not bad, there are 7 armament haki experience scrolls. Now, armament haki can finally rise to the level of LV9. The reason why Mufang kills Furgo is mainly because he thinks that Furgo will drop armament haki. Scroll of experience. Upgrading with the experience scroll is much easier than the exhausting practice. Huh? What, phone worm? Mufang suddenly discovered that a small white snail slowly crawled out of the pocket in Furgo's pants. Picking up the phone worm, Mufang smiled on his face, and then dialed the phone worm. Bolo. Bolo, the voice of the phone bug rang for a while before connecting. Before Mufang could speak, an arrogant voice rang from the other end of the phone worm. Furgo, have things been done? Fur. Is the Major General named Mufang dead? Listening to the voice, you know that it is a lawless lord. The corners of Mufang's mouth raised slightly, his tone full of pity. It's a pity. I'm still alive, Don Quixote da Flamingo. You are. Monkey D. Mufang. After a moment of silence, Da Flamingo's voice rang from the phone worm, his voice calm and heinous. Unexpectedly, the famous Tianyacha Don Quixote da Flamingo would actually know a small person like me. I am really flattered. Mufang laughed. Furgo, where is he? Da Flamingo asked straightforwardly without talking nonsense. The phone worm is a secret phone worm that communicates with Furgo. Now he appeared in Mufang's hands, and he didn't need to think too much to know that something was wrong with Furgo. Oh. You said Furgo, I just killed him. Mufang said lightly, as if recounting a sparse and common thing. What? You said? You killed Furgo. Da Flamingo's voice was full of shock. The relationship between Toripole, Pika, Diamante, and Furgo, and Da Flamingo is completely different from that of other cotters in the family. More than 20 years ago, when Da Flamingo was most desperate, the 4 of them saved him. So for Da Flamingo, the 4 are his relatives. Not only Furgo. Diamante was also cut off by an arm, and he is now being thrown in Halashi prison by me. You say. Should I kill him or put him in Impelton? Okay. What a headache. Mufang said. Oh, yes. If you don't believe me, I can let you hear Diamante's wailing. You, damn it, Da Flamingo said coldly. Pub future ads. Across the phone bug, Mufang could feel Da Flamingo's cold killing intent. Should I die? I don't know. I only know that I will hold a Shichibukai meeting at Naval Headquarters in half a month. If you don't attend, it must be Diamante who will die. That's all, Da Flamingo. Before Da Flamingo could speak, Mufang directly hung up the phone worm. Dressrosa, inside the palace, read more at woo11ax.com. Da Flamingo, who hung up the phone worm, said nothing, but in the entire hall, no one dared to speak. Just now, they all heard the conversation in the phone worm. The former top cotter Furgo was killed, and now the top cotter Diamante was arrested. At this moment, Da Flamingo is definitely on the verge of explosion. The atmosphere in the entire hall became more and more depressing. Don't know when, the slimy Toripole appeared beside Da Flamingo. At this time, I dared to speak in front of Da Flamingo. Only he and Pika were left as the top officials of the 2 families. I saw Toripole's face gloomy and asked, Dover, what do you do now? Attend the Shichibukai meeting? Huh, do you really think he is Sengoku? Why don't we dispatch all of us and grab Diamante? Come back. Furifer, participate, why not participate? Da Flamingo showed a cold smile on his face and said, of course, the prerequisite is that he can return to Naval Headquarters alive. Furfer. With that said, Da Flamingo took out a phone worm. Connected to the phone worm, a rough voice rang, what's the matter? Da Flamingo. I have asked that boy Features to help you, don't find anything else for me. Although the boss can't kill you if he explains, but I will definitely maim you. Furfur. Lord Jack. The figs you mentioned is probably dead now, and our contact person, Diamanti, was also arrested by Marine, so I am worried that this matter will affect me. The deal with Kaido-sama. After all, Diamanti is the only one who knows Guy's position. He hasn't reported to me yet. Doflamingo said. Marine? Is that the Major General named Mufang? Jack asked. Yes, Lord Jack. Doflamingo said. Huh. Sure enough, all your subordinates are rubbish. I will help you save Diamanti. Remember, this is the last time. After speaking, Jack hung up the phone. Worm. What? You said that Lieutenant Furgo is Doflamingo's subordinate, are you sure? Sengoku on the other end of the phone. Worm was obviously a little unbelievable. Of course it is certain, and Colasone's death was also related to him. Mufang said. Corazon, Sengoku was silent. Colasone is Sengoku's righteous son, and Sengoku naturally feels heartache. After a while, Sengoku said, Good job, Major General Mufang. This time you wiped out 17 pirate groups and relieved the serious situation of the G5 branch. When you come back, I will personally greet your Gaishien and grant you the rank of Lieutenant General. Then Mufang thanked the Marshal first. Mufang said with a smile. Sengoku, who hung up the phone. Worm, showed a slight smile on his face, successfully kills the Overlord Sea King class. I didn't expect this kid to have such a strong swordsmanship. I really envy this old bastard Garp, unexpectedly picked up such an excellent grandson. It seems that it won't be long before Marine will have an Admiral class combat power. No, it's a combat power that surpasses the Admiral class. The report found that Beast's pirates was abnormal. The messenger's voice sounded. Change? What happened? That lunatic has committed suicide again. As for Kaido's special hobbies, as long as he is a normal person, he will be speechless. No, it's not Kaido. It's Jack, Drought Jack. The mammoth sailed out of the seas of Beast's pirates, the target of the channel. It seems to be the battleship of Major General Mufang. What? The goal is Mufang. Sengoku stood up suddenly, his expression changed drastically. Chapter 21. The huge mammoth is like a monster on the sea, the wind and waves that are controlled by the mammoth. Although the hull is extremely large, the speed of the mammoth is very fast, not inferior to Mufang's Lieutenant General warship of the Killing Magic Order. My lord, Drought Jack is catching up. Guy looked nervous. The palms of the hands holding the saber were already sweating. Even Guy is calm, but thinking of the enemy he is about to face, can't help but feel a little desperate. That is the real big pirate, who offers a reward of up to 1 billion. Even among the pirates of the entire New World, they are among the top 20. Have you caught up? Then prepare to fight. Mufang said lightly. With the sound of artillery fire from the sky, the mammoth was restrained and attacked by artillery fire, and the speed of approaching was obviously slowed down. Of course, as the main battleship of the Beast's pirates, the artillery fire on the mammoth is also very terrifying, not inferior to the lieutenant-level battleship. The two warships kept approaching, and they could see the people on both decks. Mufang stood in the forefront of the warship wearing a cloak of justice. And on the bow of the mammoth stood a big guy with braided braids, a strong figure, a metal jaw on his mouth, and two sickle-like weapons. Pub Future ads. Beast's Pirates, one of the three major disasters, Drought Jack. Mufang said. Boy, you are Mufang. Jack looked at Mufang, a trace of brutality appeared in his eyes. The boss said that you can't take the initiative to find you Marine. I'll give you a chance. Let Doflamingo's hands go, and then call Master Jack twice, I will let you go. Otherwise, it's not just you, but the ship on this ship. All Marines don't want to live out of the new world. Really? It seems like Marshal Sengoku said. Your brain is a bit awkward. Mufang said lightly. Undoubtedly, Drought Jack is very strong, but his brain is not good enough. In the original book, he even dared to directly attack the battleships of Sengoku and Fujitora. Damn it, kill all these Marines for me. Jack's eyes were full of fierce light. Tempest Kick Death Cross. Mufang raised his leg, and the terrifying Tempest Kick blasted towards Jack. Seeing Mufang's offensive, Jack didn't mean to dodge. A cruel smile appeared on his face, and then he directly carried the Death Cross with his body. Read more at woo11ax.com. Seeing Jack like this, Mufang couldn't help being speechless. The Death Cross that he blasted with all his strength, but even Hailishi could be cut off, but now it blasted Jack's body, but there was nothing wrong with it. Worthy of being a strong man called a disaster, being strong is simply desperate. Boy, are you tickling me? Jack grinned sullenly, and then suddenly jumped from the bow of the ship with two sickles in his hands. Under the influence of the huge reaction, the bow of the mammoth was facing the sea. It has sunk a lot. Moonwalk. The air bursts sounded, and Mufang also jumped up. Mufang didn't have any fear, holding the sword and banging against Jack. If Mufang's swordsmanship is exquisite and superb, then Jack's swordsmanship, no, it shouldn't be called swordsmanship at all, it's just a hack with brute force. The power of Jack, who is full of mammoth power, is simply terrifying, and he is completely capable of breaking tricks with his force. The wind and waves caused by the two people even had to overturn the next warship. And Jack doesn't know moonwalk and can't stay in the air for a long time. Turned back and landed on the mammoth, and Mufang also fell back to his warship. That's amazing, Major General is not at a disadvantage at all. That's Beast's Pirate's signature powerhouse, offering a billion Drought Jack as a reward. How is it possible? The boss of the fighting power did not win. Marines saw Major General Mufang's hope of repelling Jack. The pirates on the mammoth were all shocked. This is the first time they have seen Jack Boss not gain the upper hand in the confrontation. Jack is called the Drought because he took the ancient species of Zoan, devil fruit mammoth fruit. With the terrifying brute force of a mammoth, it can destroy anything at will, and the place it walks on is dry and decayed like a drought, heading for extinction. It seems to be a better long knife. Looking at the tachi in his hand, Mufang showed a helpless look on his face. The sharp boutique tachi, although the sharpness is not inferior to that of the tachi. But its sturdiness, I guess it's not as good as that of a good knives. Just this moment, cracks appeared on the body of the knife. In desperation, Mufang could only put the sword into the scabbard. It seems that after returning to naval headquarters, the first thing you need to do is to find a handy sword. The best one is the supreme sword. Otherwise, the swordsmanship of Yuajawa Yachiryu could not be used at all. Although Yuajawa is a female stream, the swordsmanship is absolutely violent. What? Do you want to give up? But you have already angered Uncle Jack, I will never let you go. Jack said grimly. With that said, Jack became a mammoth semi-complete state. His body was constantly swelling and getting bigger, and finally turned into a huge behemoth 30 meters high, with sharp fangs and sturdy limbs. All the structures of the body show the horror of Jack at this moment. Give up? I won't give up. Next, let you see the real horror level power. You are honored, because you are the first person in this world who can feel its horror. Mufang said flatly. As Mufang's voice fell, the pupil of his right eye began to change. 3 Guya jade appeared in the normal pupils of the eyes, and they spun crazily, and finally intertwined together, forming a triangular windmill shape. Promotion of 3 Tomo Sharingan Mangekyo Sharinan. Suzanu. Staring at Jack, Mufang slowly uttered a few words. Suzanu Mangekyo Sharingan's ability. When Mufeng's Sherinan was promoted to Mangekyo Sherinan, one of the two pupil techniques opened. Mufeng was still very surprised when he got Suzanu's pupil technique. Because according to Mufeng's understanding of Hokage, Susanoo is the third power that must be unlocked after the abilities of a pair of Mangekyo Sherinan are unlocked. Known as the power of God, it is the power that symbolizes destruction and destruction. All said, as long as you have seen it once, you will inevitably die. Naturally, Mufeng would not refuse the ability to possess Susanoo in advance. Mufeng's Mangekyo is only in a single pupil state, so Susanoo can only open the first form. The huge blue-purple skeleton suddenly rose up, wrapping Mufeng in it. The skeleton is about 40 meters tall, standing above the sea. It is even bigger and more shocking than Jack transformed into a mammoth form. What kind of monster is this? Is it a devil? Idiot, it must be devil fruit. I didn't expect that Major General would actually be a capable person of devil fruit. Then, what is that? It's terrible, it looks bigger than Master Jack. Compared to Marine, whose morale is gradually rising. The Shanghai thieves on the mammoth looked a little panicked at this time. Susanoo is a pupil technique that symbolizes destruction, so it will involuntarily exude a devastating pressure on the opponent. It is inevitable that the pirates of the mammoth will feel terrified. The devil fruit of the Eudemons. Boy, it turns out that this is your support. Jack looked at Mufeng with a gloomy expression, and said grimly, read more at wu11ax.com. Seeing Mufeng's current form, Jack should think it is the demon fruit power of Zoan. The devil fruit of the Eudemon species is even rarer than Logia. There are fewer than 5 fingers to know the ability of Eudemons in the Great Sea. Even if you are capable of Eudemons, you will die today. Jack roared. Then he leaped high directly from the mammoth, and the huge mammoth under his feet almost had to be kicked directly into the sea by him, banging towards Susanoo with his fists like feet. Give me, go back. Mufeng also jumped high. The blue and purple flames on the skeleton's bone arms are even more violent, like a demon's fist protruding out of hell. The bone arm and Jack's fists blasted together. The arms of the two giants banged together. Suddenly, a terrifying roar sounded. The 4 punches faced each other, as if 10 million tons of high explosive exploded. Stacks of air waves spread out from the pair of fists. The sea was stirred up by this terrifying wave. The mammoth and the battleship, under this huge wave, looked extremely small, as if they could capsize in this huge wave at any time. Susanoo is an energy state. As long as Mufeng's pupil power continues, it can be maintained for a long time. Jack is still a body of flesh and blood, although the mammoth fruit gives unparalleled resilience and the ability to resist blows. However, under Susanoo's erosion, Jack's fist face was already showing sharp digits, and he could only choose to retreat under the pain. How is it possible? Master Jack retired from the residence. This is a confrontation of power. How could Lord Jack lose? What a joke, this must not be true. Until Jack landed on the mammoth again, the pirates under his command still couldn't believe it. Mammoth fruit powerful - drought Jack. If we talk about power alone, there will never be more than 3 people who can surpass Boss Jack in the entire sea. Damn guy. Jack looked at Mufeng. The anger from his eyes seemed to burn Mufeng directly. If this is not on the sea, but on land. As long as he liberated himself from the complete state of the mammoth, he had the confidence to crush the purple monster in front of him. Let's go. Looking at Mufeng fiercely, Jack roared unwillingly. Although Jack's brain is not so good. But he also knew that he couldn't fully display the power of the mammoth fruit in the sea, and he couldn't kill Mufeng in a short time. And if you get caught in a long fight, then Marine is bound to have support. Although the pirates on the mammoth were equally unwilling, there was nothing to do. As the fierce mammoth in Beast's pirates, there is no way to get a Marine Major General. If such news is sent back to New World, I can imagine that for a long time, myself and others will become the laughing stock of New World. Have you won? Have we won? Major General, actually defeated the Drought Jack. The Marines on the battleship were all shocked. What a existence 4 emperors are, every 4 emperors is a behemoth that can attack naval headquarters. As one of the 3 strongest disasters under 4 emperors Kaido, Drought Jack definitely possesses admiral-level strength. But now, he was at a disadvantage in the battle with the Major General, and at this moment, he was desperately preparing to retreat. Want to escape? Did I let you escape? Mufang snorted coldly. With a sudden leap, Susanoo struck the mammoth. You! Do you think I can't kill you? Jack gritted his teeth as he watched the attacking Mufang. Originally, he chose to retreat, so he nestled in a ball of fire. Now that he sees Mufang attacking again, he is even more dazzled by anger. Raising his right fist, the semi-mammoth arm became thicker several times again. Jack's arms were directly mammoth, and the mammoth's feet slammed straight towards Susanoo. Jack, who was already in madness, didn't notice that in the fist of Susanoo who hit him, he was holding a stone, a gray-black stone. Chapter 23. Susanoo's bone arm collided with Jack again, and this time it was even more terrifying. The pirate boats under Jack's feet were all cracked. Mufang, who controls Susanoo, can feel that Susanoo has a tendency to fall apart. This is why Jack did not continue to fight Mufang. The warship under his feet couldn't bear his own power at all. What a terrifying power! Is this his true strength? It is worthy of being an ancient mammoth fruit-capable person. Mufang secretly said. With the horror of a mammoth, if it is placed on land, Mufang really has nothing to do with him, but now it is on the sea. Mufang said, I have 100 different ways to kill you. Susanoo's fist, which was banging with Jack, collapsed under Mufang's control. The gray-black stone originally held in Susanoo's fist was revealed. Then, under the action of inertia, he plunged directly into the flesh and blood of Jack's fist. Jack frowned under the pain, and his complexion changed suddenly. Halashi! How could it be possible? Jack exclaimed. The gray-black stone that Mufang blasted into Jack's body was the Halo stone. The crystallization of the sea is also the natural enemy of all demon fruit power. This sea-building stone was rewarded by the system the last time Mufang killed the Sea King class. While Jack exclaimed, his body continued to shrink. The first is the complete mammoth arm, and then the semi-mammoth body. All returned to their original form. The power of the seafloor stone not only made Jack unable to use the fruit's ability, but also made Jack soft and weak. Kneeling on one knee on the deck, Jack's eyes were full of shock. He can't figure out why Mufang, who is also demon fruit power, has a piece of Halo stone in his hand, but he is not affected in the slightest. However, I am afraid that he will never have the opportunity to think about this problem in his life. Mufang drove Susanoo and landed directly on the mammoth. In Mufang's eyes, Jack at this time was like a lamb waiting to be slaughtered. Susanoo's terrifying giant fist fell on Jack's body like a storm. After a few seconds, the voice of the system rang in Mufang's mind. Congratulations to the host, kill the Drought Jack. Reward, 47 advanced experience scrolls. Because it belongs to a special life, reward the host a Mammoth Blade. Mammoth Blade. Hearing the voice of the system, Mufang couldn't help but shine. Read more at woo11ax.com. It can be said that there is a pillow when I doze off. The sword of his own had just collapsed in the battle, and the system sent a handful, but I didn't know how this Mammoth Blade was. With a thought, the message of Mammoth Blade appeared in Mufang's mind. Item, Mammoth Blade. Type, Weapon. Quality, 6 stars. Remarks, Mammoth Blade can only be possessed by the strong who defeated the mammoth. It is made by grinding the hardest bones of the ancient mammoth, and it is harder than the seafloor stone. Comprehensive evaluation, a tool that is not inferior and supreme at all. Good knife. With a slight movement of thought, the mammoth blade appeared in his hand. The knife is about 1.2 meters long, and the blade is about 3 fingers wide. It is in the style of a big sword. Holding it in his hand, a sigh of relief could not help but gush out from Mu Feng's body. As if the surviving mammoth descended into the world, Mu Feng understood that this was the might of a sword. Mangekyo in the right eye disappeared, and Mu Feng relieved Susanoo. Moonwalk stepped into the air, 3 air bursts, Mu Feng appeared directly above the mammoth. And the pirates under Jack the mammoth. The moment Jack was killed by Mu Feng, he was completely sluggish. They couldn't believe, the ferocious captain, the drought Jack of beasts pirates, was actually beaten to death like this. But Mu Feng, who is in the air, will not give them time to relax. The mammoth blade in his hand was drawn out with a single knife. The terrifying sword aura slashed out from the blade, the next instant, the mammoth had been cut off. Under the agitation of such a terrifying sword aura, the remains of the mammoth, along with the pirates struggling in the sea, were all turned into dust. Even the entire sea, was directly cut off by Mu Feng's sword. The sword energy stretched for thousands of meters, and the entire sea was crossed. The sword energy did not dissipate, and the cut sea did not close. Mu Feng's sword is like blazing a path in the sea. Marine on the side of the battleship was already sluggish. But then there was a sense of unparalleled honor. The one who killed Jack Drought and cut off the sea, is his immediate boss. And being able to follow such a boss, is it worrying that he won't be famous in the ocean? Following the moonwalk, Mu Feng returned to the battleship. Clean the battlefield and return to naval headquarters. Mu Feng said lightly. At this moment, a yellow light path shone on the battleship deck. Kizaru appeared in a yellow and white striped suit and sunglasses. Yeah, good brother Mu Feng. It seems that I'm not too late. After hearing that Jack's target of drought is you, Marshal Sengoku directly asked me who was on vacation in the West Sea to come over. Well, wait, go back to naval headquarters and ask me to have 2 drinks. Kizaru's voice will feel awkward no matter how you hear it. Senior Polusalino, please drink 2 copies, of course it's okay. Mu Feng smiled lightly, however, Senior, you are a bit late. Drought Jack has already been here. Oh, is it? Kizaru pulled down his sunglasses and glanced at Mu Feng. Surprised, oh haha. It seems that when Mu Feng fought against the Gykyuzen, he still retained his strength. He was able to knock back the stupid Big Jack. You seem to have a little misunderstanding. Senior Polusalino. It was not that I repelled, but I killed him. Mu Feng looked at Kizaru and said with a faint smile. Chapter 24. Nani. Hearing Mu Feng's words, Kizaru was taken aback subconsciously. The toad sunglasses on his face also fell off the bridge of his nose. With surprise in his eyes, he asked in disbelief, Brother Mu Feng, you said, you killed Jack. Knock back and kill, although only a word difference, they are worlds apart. Drought Jack's strength, Kizaru is naturally clear. As one of the 3 Cotters under 4 Emperors Kaido, Jack is an admiral-level combat power. If it is on the land, Jack is violent, he has no way to take him, even on the sea, because there is no place to stand, Jack's strength will be limited, but there is no way to kill him. Yeah. If you can't do it yourself, Aokiji and Akino can't do it naturally. But now the Drought Jack was actually killed, and the killer was a major general. Kizaru felt like he was listening to the fantasy story now. Yes, I killed him. If you don't believe me, Senior, the 300 Marine sergeants on this battleship can testify for me. Mu Feng said with a smile. Yo haha, what are you talking about? How can I not believe what Mu Feng said? It's just that I didn't expect that Mu Feng is so good. It seems that I will be able to retire soon. Yo ha. Kizaru's face was revealed. A representative wretched smile. Yo ha ha. It seems that New World is going to have a big trouble now. Naval Headquarters, Marshal's Office. Garp, Sengoku, Crane. Garp's face was gloomy, the blue veins on his arms were violent, and the coldness in his eyes was even more frightening. Crane hasn't seen Garp like this for a long time. The last time Garp looked like this was when Durag defected from Marine. Seeing Sengoku hang up the phone worm, Garp immediately asked, "Sengoku, what's the news from Kizaru? How is Mufang? Is he captured, or killed in battle? Don't stop me, I'm going to see and kill Jack." Guy. Garp was furious. "Dead, already dead." Sengoku said, "Read more at woo11ax.com. Thinking of the report in the Kizaru phone worm, Sengoku still couldn't believe it. What? Mufang, dead? Garp's pupils dilated. The next moment, the monstrous conqueror's haki raged out and swept the entire naval headquarters. In addition to the combat power above the general level, the naval headquarters are all crushed to the ground at this moment. Marine hero Iron Fist Garp, the terrifying power is undoubtedly revealed at this moment. Feeling Garp's conqueror's haki, Sengoku also calmed down. Busily said, "Old bastard, what do you want to do? Take your haki back." "I said it's dead, it's Jack dead, not Mufang. That kid, he's still alive and kicking, nothing happened." "Huh? Then you don't make it clear. Garp blames you for the look. But I didn't expect that Kizaru's strength has risen. Even Jack can kill the rough-skinned guy." Garp touched his chin. "Jack was not killed by Kizaru," Sengoku said quietly. "It's not Kizaru. Who is that?" Garp looked puzzled, as did the crane on the side. "Aokiji and Akinu are not in the New World, otherwise Kizaru, who is far away in the West Sea, will not be allowed to travel around most of the world to support Mufang. Could it be Whitebeard, the redhead, or the ant?" Seeing that Jack was unhappy and killed him, there was no sign of the news. "It's Mufang, Jack committed suicide alone," Sengoku said. Crane and Garp instantly looked confused. "Just kidding? Killing Jack alone, at least must be a Marshal or 4 Emperors level combat power. That kid Mufang, is he really that strong? Ahaha, I deserve to be Garp's grandson." Garp smiled arrogantly. Sengoku looked at Garp with envy and jealousy. How could such an excellent grandson be picked up by this old bastard? But now is not the time to consider this issue. Drought Jack's death, Kaido Guy will definitely be furious. At this moment, New World estimates that there will be a big mess again, and I am busy. New World, Beasts Pirates. What are you talking about? Jack's life paper turned to ashes. Kaido, who looked like a behemoth, stared at his men and asked each word. "Yes, yes. The great big pirate who used to be the last." At this time, in front of Kaido, it was as if he had seen an eagle's chicken. "Who is it? Marine, or those 3 guys? Check it out for me. No matter who it is, I will make him pay." Kaido's low voice sounded like a muffled thunder in the Sea of Beasts pirates. Kaido was furious at this time. Of the 3 disasters, Jack is not the strongest, but he is definitely the one who listens to Kaido's orders the most. Jack's death is tantamount to cutting off Kaido's arm. In Dressrosa's palace, it was terribly quiet. Doflamingo's face was even more gloomy than it could be. After a while, he said, "You said Jack was beaten to death by the Marine Major General, personally?" "Yes, Violet saw it," Toripole said. Although he also felt it, it was unbelievable. But this was what Violet saw with his own eyes. Violet was an ability person who stared at the fruit. Able to observe from a distance within a radius of 4,000 kilometers with one's own vision as the center point. "Tell Mufang that I will participate in this Shishibukai meeting." Doflamingo's voice almost came from his throat, which shows the anger at this time, At the same time, using our underground network to determine Jack's cause of death. Spread it out. I want to see how long Mufeng can live after Kaido knows the cause of Jack's death. In 3 days, the death of Jack drought spread throughout the New World. Chapter 25. So the whole sea shook, drought Jack died. And it was only a 17-year-old major general who killed Jack Drought in Marine? Just kidding. This is the idea that all the big pirates of New World subconsciously popped out of their minds after hearing this news. And the name Monkey D. Mufeng has also become the most discussed name in the sea in the past few days. Who is Monkey D. Mufeng? What is the relationship with Monkey D. Garp? How did he kill Drought Jack? In New World, 4 emperors naturally have the most eyes and ears. So on the first day Doflamingo spread the news, the 4 emperors had already learned about it. The first and most violent reaction was naturally Kaido. A kill order was issued directly. All the pirates under Beast's pirates, if they can kill Mufeng, will be directly promoted to the position of 3 plagues. And if you do not consume devil fruit, you will directly reward the ancient species devil fruit, which is demon fruit power, and reward 1 billion Baileys. People who are not Beast's pirates can also hold Mufeng's head in exchange for rewards. Another area of New World, the Whitebeard pirates. Father, Drought Jack was killed by Marine. He is a major general, like the grandson of Garp. Marco said. The grandson of that old bastard Garp. Whitebeard's eyes lit up. After taking a sip of wine, he said indifferently, Kula la la la. It seems that Marine finally found a good seed. But it has nothing to do with us. Marco, tell the children that there will be a banquet tonight, Kulela. Okay, Daddy. Marco said with a similar smile. In his opinion, no matter what kind of enemy it is, his father can blow with a punch. After all, his father is the strongest man in the world. Read more at woo11ax.com. It is also in New World, an unknown island. Captain, something big is going to happen to New World. What can happen? The ant is dead? Or Kaido succeeded in suicide? Are these all good things? Ha 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 ha. The red-haired man with 3 scars on his left eye laughed. Ha ha. Could it be that New World's meat has been bought out? Lucky Lu. Riki Lu, if you eat more, you will be really fat and unable to walk, haha. Red hair pirates are spitting out Riki Lu. No, Captain. It was Marine, Garp's grandson killed Jack. Riki Lu said helplessly. This news instantly silenced the entire red hair pirates. Garp's grandson, isn't it Luffy? Luffy has become a Marine. The red-haired man is naturally Shanks, who will look dull. No, Luffy is only 11 years old this year. It's not Luffy, it's a guy named Monkey D. Mufeng. It is said to be the righteous grandson Garp recognized a few years ago. Lucky Lu explained. It's not Luffy. The red hair breathed a sigh of relief. It seems that Marine is about to appear another great character. But, it's not Luffy. Ahahaha, come on, let's revel that little Luffy hasn't become Marine, have a party. Time when the whole world was talking about Jack's death due to the drought. Mufeng, the initiator of this incident, returned to the Grand Line on his own warship, but he did not report back to naval headquarters for the first time. Instead, I came directly to Amazon Lily on the Grand Line. That is, the famous Daughter Island. As the name suggests, this is an island where only women live. On this island, there is a country called the 9 Snakes. This island has the absolute norms of man ban. Once men enter, they will definitely be wiped out. The king of Amazon Lily is 7 warlords of the sea, Boa Hancock, who has the title of the world's #1 beauty. The reason why Mufeng came here is because of the side mission of the system. Side mission, conquer 7 warlords of the sea. Mission introduction, obviously, you can't do without a loyal thug as a new Marine, So take Shichibukai. Mission completed, a character ability card in 10,000 realms. Mission failure, the system was shut down for 1 year. This is the task Mufeng received when he captured Diamantai. In Mufeng's view, instead of conquering one by one, it's not as convenient as conquering all at once. So when I talked with Doflamingo, I directly announced that the 7 warlords of the Sea Roundtable meeting would be held. The fellow Doflamingo, after he killed Jack himself, he was persuaded. I talked to myself through Torapol and said I would come to this meeting. As the undercover agent of the Revolutionary Army in Shichibukai, Seong is very honest and will attend every meeting on time. And Jinbei, Crocodile, Moria, these 3 guys, didn't have the guts to ignore Marine's call. This leaves only the Eagle Eye Mihawk and Hancock. For Mihawk, Mufeng is the least worried. Undoubtedly, Mihawk is the strongest player in 7 warlords of the sea. As a swordsman, he has his own arrogance. When he joined 7 warlords of the sea that year, Marine promised that he could ignore the recruitment. But in Mufeng's view, Mihawk is the best recruit. Because Mihawk is a swordsman. Mufeng only needs to slay a hegemonic Sea King class with a single blow, and Mihawk will naturally take the bait. Swordsman, especially Mihawk, the world's #1 swordsman. But I am very eager to have an opponent who can fight with him as much as he can, especially the swordsman. So for Mufeng, the only trouble is the female Emperor Boa Hancock.